Philadelphia, a city abuzz on this 9th night of November in anticipation of the next chapter in the great rivalry between the Eagles and the Giants on Sunday Night Football.
Sunday night, baby!
Giants, Eagles. Got it.
She's on her way.
Tonight is the night! Everything you got, baby! You got it! Everything we work for!
Comes down to this.
Sunday night, here we go. Lights on the lights for the ultimate show. Get on your feet, it's about to explode. Hey Jack, it's a fact, the game's back in town. Manning and McNabb pumping down for down. Stadium's rocking, time to crank up the sound. The NFL's best have come to play. For every fan, there's just one thing left to say. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. Tucked in a rug in a primetime fight. More than a game, it's every fan's right. 'Cause I've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
And it's caught by Burris for the touchdown.
Boy, is he fun to watch.
Westbrook, he's going to go all the way to the end zone for a touchdown.
Sunday night football on NBC. Al and John are the best on TV. Laser Ray set the big boys free. 'Cause the NFL runs on NBC.
Just across the parking lot from the home of baseball's world champions is Lincoln Financial Field, where on this 48-degree night, the Philadelphia Eagles come out onto the field ready to take on the Super Bowl champion New York Giants and quarterback Eli Manning on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels with John Madden, Andrea Kramer. Welcome to Philadelphia, a game that will very much alter the complexion of the NFC East. If the Giants win, they'll go to 8-1. They'll be in a dominant spot. If Philadelphia wins, it will turn the NFC East into a mad scramble. The Giants 7-1 at the halfway mark. Their only loss during the first half of the season, the Monday nighter at Cleveland. This team comes in with no Super Bowl letdown. Very balanced, 5th in offense, 3rd in defense, and extremely healthy. The Eagles started the season with a record of 2-3, but they're hot now. They've won 3 straight, so they are 5-3. Donovan McNabb is the healthiest he's been in a couple of years and looks like it. Brian Westbrook has been battling ankle and rib injuries. He's missed 2 games, but he appears to be almost completely healthy again, and the Eagles are poised for a big second half run. John, these 2 teams have played some great games over the past few years. Many of them have gone down to the wire. Last year, the Giants beat Philadelphia in both meetings. What will the Eagles have to do to turn the tables tonight?
Well, you know, and those 4 games all came down to the last play, so basically they just have to finish. I mean, you talk to Andy Reid, and he says, we have to win the battle at the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. Donovan McNabb says we have to finish. We have to finish the game, and we have to finish drives. Remember when we had them against Chicago, they could move the ball up and down between the 20-yard line, then they'd get inside the 20 and on the goal line, and they couldn't score. So the big thing for them tonight is they have to be able to move the ball like that, but when they do get close to the goal line, they have to score touchdowns.
Point well taken. Their 3 losses by a total of 14 points. As far as the Giants are concerned, I mentioned how balanced they are offensively and defensively. In tonight's game, which of those 2 units will be more instrumental in your mind in determining the outcome of this game?
I think the offense of the Giants, and it's led by their offensive line, which is the best offensive line in the NFL. And it starts with that and the running game. And that takes a lot of pressure off a very confident Eli Manning. But Eli cannot make mistakes tonight. You know, you talk to Jim Johnson, the Philadelphia Eagles, they want to go after him. You know they're going to blitz him. And when they go and blitz him, they want to get turnovers. They don't want to just get sacks.
We think this will be a great night. It's all the town is talking about. 2 teams separated by about a 90-minute drive on the New Jersey Turnpike. Meeting since 1933. Eagles-Giants on Sunday Night Football.
NBC Sports, home of Super Bowl 43, welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Plot lines, storylines, drama galore tonight, and plenty of backstories. For one of the more interesting of those, let's get down to the field and Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Well, thank you, Al. We know the NFC East is all about defense, and tonight we have two of the best and most similar. That's because Eagles defensive coordinator Jim Johnson was the boss and mentor to Giants defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo for 8 seasons. Johnson said he recognizes about 60% of the Giants' defense as being his concepts, especially the pressure packages. Spagnuolo told me that beyond the X's and O's, the most important thing he learned from Johnson was you have to trust your players. And Al, for now, the student is getting the better of the teacher, since the Giants' defense has allowed only 1 touchdown in their prior 2 meetings. And
Spagnuolo might be the hottest young assistant in the league. There's a look at the NFC East, regarded by almost everybody as the best of the divisions. Giants 7-1. The Redskins and Cowboys are off this weekend and meet next Sunday on Sunday Night Football. And you saw Philadelphia at 5-3. Giants won the toss, elected to receive the south end at Lincoln Financial Field. Akers will be kicking off. A look from above. Fireworks to get us underway on this 48-degree Sunday night as Andy Reid is in the middle of his 10th season as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. And away we go from what they call the link. Taken 2 yards into the end zone by Ahmad Bradshaw. And Bradshaw brings the ball out to the 22-yard line, and that's where the Giants offense will go to work after the tackle by Hakeem Jordan. Here's the offense.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Brandon Jacobs, Southern Illinois.
Madison Hedgecock, North Carolina.
Plexico Burris, Michigan State.
Amani Toomer, Michigan.
Kevin Boss, Western Oregon.
Dave Deal, University of Chief, Illinois.
Rich Seibert, Western Illinois.
Sean O'Hara, Rutgers University.
Chris Snee, Boston College.
Cooley McKenzie, Penn State.
Chris Snee, the son-in-law of head coach Tom Coughlin, the right guard on first down now. Jacobs is the running back. And the big bruiser will pick up 4 out to the 26-yard line. Eli Manning, Super Bowl MVP last year. His numbers at this point this season very similar to what they were last year. And as you can see against Philadelphia here, perfect in the regular season, lost one of those wild card games. His rating, not bad, 89.7. He's thrown 12 touchdown passes this season with 5 interceptions. And the Giants will go to 5 wide out of the shotgun here on 2nd down and 6. 4-man Eagle front and a 4-man rush. And the pass is caught, and that'll be a first down as he finds Amani Toomer now in his 13th season from Michigan.
Now, you're just talking about Eli Manning, but look how much more comfortable he looks. I mean, he gets back there and spreads that offense out, empty backfield, 5 wide receivers, 3 on this side, 2 on the other side, 2 do a medium route, 1 does a short route, and he throws to the short guy. But I mean, he is so calm now in the pocket. Remember a year ago and even the year before that, he would always start off a little antsy.
He answered a lot of questions in January and February last year. And now that pass is taken away by Patterson. The defensive tackle takes it inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. So just when you begin to talk about the comfort level, the one thing the Philadelphia defense can do is make you very uncomfortable in a hurry.
You're right, and that's exactly what Jim Johnson wanted. That's what we were talking about. Look at this. They come up there, they get the blitz, they get the pressure on Eli Manning. They make him throw it when he doesn't want to. And there's Mike Patterson getting the knockdown and then catching the ball. But that's exactly what Jim Johnson was looking for. When we put pressure, when we come with a blitz, we don't just want to sack, we want to get a turnover. The first blitz, they got a turnover.
One of the shortest defensive linemen in the league at 6 feet as Manning goes over things with Kevin Gilbride. That's Patterson's first career interception. And the Eagles have a 1st and goal at the 9. The Giants coming off a game against Dallas last week in which they turned the ball over 3 times. So they start with a turnover. McMahon tries to cash in, but he takes a lot of heat on the first play and has to throw it away. That's Justin Tuck, and Justin Tuck is emerging into a star. Number 91, with the retirement of Michael Strahan, that giant defensive line has not missed a beat, even without Osi Umenyiora, who was gone for the season with an injury in preseason, and 91 is becoming a star.
And you're going to see Kiwanuka come from one side, put a little pressure from the right side, and then Justin Tuck coming from the left side to really put the hit on Donovan McNabb.
Now the Wildcat offense here. Deshaun Jackson's going to take the snap. There he is. He's the wide receiver, second round draft choice from Cal. And Jackson around the corner will get to about he'll get in. He'll cross the goal line. The side judge is right there as he gets the pylon off a block by John Runyon. So what a start for the Eagles. An interception by a defensive lineman, then a Wildcat formation, and Deshaun Jackson goes 9 yards for a touchdown.
Deshaun Jackson is a perfect guy for this because he's a great open field runner. He's a punt returner and a kick returner. Great run after the catch. And if you're going to put someone in the Wildcat position on this team, he's the ideal guy.
He returns punts. We've seen him now in the Wildcat. He's their leading receiver, David Akers, for the point after.
We've also seen him not take it all the way into the end zone.
Right. Missed a golden opportunity for another touchdown in that game in Dallas when he left the ball behind at the 1 yard line. So a perfect start for the Philadelphia Eagles. Patterson with the interception. Then Jackson takes it in for the touchdown. 7-0, Philadelphia. Crowd has already broken into their first chorus of Fly Eagles Fly. That only took a minute and 42 seconds. Manning ready to come back out with the offense. Akers with the second kickoff. Bradshaw back to take it. And it is taken in the end zone by Derek Ward, who was back there with Bradshaw. And Ward juggles it, and he'll settle for the touchback as we go back to the touchdown. Great play, great move, and a great pair of blocks setting it up.
What you see, Deshaun Jackson's right there. Now watch Buckholder, the block that he's going to get, and then the block that John Runyon gets. Buckholder right there. Now here's Runyon right there, and that springs Deshaun Jackson to the end zone.
Runyon just enveloped Ross, the corner on the play.
I think Ross let himself be enveloped. When you see a guy 6'8", 330 pounds running at you, you get enveloped.
Just get under the wave. And this is Jacobs carrying for 9. Let's take a look at the Philly starting defense.
Jaquay Parker, Oklahoma State.
Mike Patterson, Southern California.
Roger Bunkley, Florida State University.
Trent Cole, Cincinnati.
Chris Gokong, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo.
Stu Bradley, Nebraska.
Omar Gaither, Tennessee.
Sante Samuel, UCF Knights.
Quentin Michael, Boise State University.
Brian Dawkins, Clemson.
Sheldon Brown, South Carolina.
Second down and a long one from just outside the 28-yard line. You've got Derek Ward in the game right now. And Ward will bounce off the pile and then pick up the first down. He's part of a three-headed, it's a hydra-headed monster the Giants have out of the backfield. You've got the hammer in Jacobs, who's averaging 5.2. Then you've got Ward averaging 6.1. And then a lot of times in the fourth quarter, they go to Ahmad Bradshaw, and he's averaging 5.4. So the team now, John, averaging a scintillating 5.2 per tote.
Right, and you wonder if you could have 2,000-yard running backs in the same backfield in Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward.
Good possibility this year as Manning throws, and then is caught by Kevin Boss, the tight end, up at the 35-yard line. Of course, they let Jeremy Shockey go in the offseason to New Orleans. He got into it with Drew Brees today. You might have seen that on Football Night in America. And Boss has taken over as the #1 tight end, second year at Western Oregon.
Yeah, and what they lose there is a little in blocking. But that offensive line, are such good blockers that the tight end isn't as big as he is in some offenses. With Shockey, he was a lot better blocker than Kevin Boss is.
Second down and 6. Manning out of the shotgun. He'll spread it out again. The inside handoff goes to Ward. And Ward again after early contact, picks up a couple of extra yards. Stuart Bradley, the middle linebacker, will make the tackle. He takes it out to the 40-yard line, and the Giants will have a 3rd down and 1.
You know, and more teams are doing this, having runs from shotgun. What the Giants were in that time is they were in 4 wide receivers, 2 by 2, and then they run a running play, because it always been, you know, when you spread out, you get in shotgun, that's going to be a pass, so you get a big pass rush. So every time you get in shotgun, you can't let them know, okay, this is a pass, rush the passer. When I'm underneath center, it's going to be run.
The Giants with that second-ranked rushing game, only Atlanta is above them. And on 3rd and 1, it's the play fake, and Manning will go to Boss. And the tight end who caught a touchdown pass last week against Dallas picks up a 1st down here. He's ridden out of bounds by Brian Dawkins. That's a gain of 21, and the Giants are in Eagle territory.
Yeah, this is a good third down and short pass where you fake the run, then you bootleg out to the right, then you have your tight end coming across the field. See, Kevin Boss comes across the field to the same side that Eli Manning is bootlegging to. That's a pretty easy throw, but it does fool and hold the defense so that the quarterback can get out and the tight end can get across.
Giants come up in 5 wide again, including Ward, who splits out wide to the right. Burris was in the slot. They come back this way, and the pass is incomplete, intended for the backup tight end, Michael Matthews, number 88. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, what they do is they gave a 5 wide receiver look that time with 2 tight ends, and you know, Jim Johnson saw that empty backfield, and you know, the first time, and Eli felt pretty comfortable in it. He didn't let him feel comfortable. That time he brought the blitz, and Eli had to throw right into the blitz.
Jacobs back in the game now. Jacobs sets up 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage on 2nd down and 10. Eagles creeping up. Now Jacobs. And Jacobs inside the 30. Jacobs inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. And Brandon Jacobs, with the retirement of Tiki Barber, got an opportunity to play a lot last year and made the most of it. And he's having a Pro Bowl type season.
And what's the right guard? Chris Snee is going to pull out and lead him. He gets right in behind Snee, gets right on his hip, and makes the break right off his block. Here comes Snee. You see, he's going to hit right there. Jacobs has just enough patience to let him get in front to make that block.
Ward flanking Manning now in the shotgun. 6 minutes into the game, they give it to Ward. And he'll get taken down in the backfield by Broderick Bunkley. You know, John, we were talking about Chris Snee, and he's the son-in-law, as I mentioned, of Tom Coughlin. So we said to him last night, hey, Chris, you know, if you go home and you complain to your wife, you know, that you're upset with the boss, what does she say? She says, suck it up.
Right, and he says he has to have 2 relationships. He has one with him as his father-in-law, and then he has one with him as his coach. And I know Tom Coughlin doesn't call him Chris, he calls him Snee.
Well, she is her
she's the real
daughter.
boss.
Yes, she's her father's daughter, no doubt. Here's Derek Ward in the backfield again on 2nd down and 9, and Manning under pressure throws, and it's incomplete and nearly intercepted as Ward couldn't hold on. Victor Abimeri put the pressure on number 95, and it will be 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, and look where Abimeri came. He came right over Chris Snee. He's going to knock Chris Snee right on his back and run right over him. And he hit Eli just as he threw it. I'm just talking about Chris Snee, and right after that, he gets run over.
3rd and 9. 8.5 to go in the opening quarter. This is the Giants' second possession. Their first ended in an interception, which the Eagles turned into a touchdown. And Manning guns it to the end zone on 3rd and 9, and it is caught by Burris. Touchdown Giants. Sheldon Brown on a corner blitz that time, and Manning hung in there and hits him for 17 yards and a touchdown. So Burris, who had not caught a pass to this point, makes his 33rd touchdown reception of an Eli Manning pass.
Right, perfect by Eli Manning. First in calling the pass protection, getting the blitz picked up and blocked, and then hitting Burris on that pass.
4 touchdowns for Burris this season. He bowed to the crowd, as if to say, I'm here. And the extra point is good. John Carney bangs it through at the age of 44. So the Giants respond after the Eagles go in for the opening touchdown. Back they come, 80-yard drive, 10 plays to knock the game at 7. You can experience Sunday Night Football Extra by logging on to NBCSports.com or NFL.com. Live coverage of the game and a lot more. And you can also cast your vote for the Horse Trailer Player of the Game. We had a kicker, Adam Vinatieri, for the first time. And speaking of kickers, here's Lawrence Tynes, who's been inactive all season until now. Knee injury in training camp. Active tonight. Kickoff to the 5-yard line. Quentin Demps, a rookie from Texas El Paso, loses it, and the Giants recover inside the 15-yard line. So Demps, who's done a very good job to this point this season in his rookie season running back kickoffs, gives it up, and Chase Blackburn comes away with a recovery for the Giants, who start with a short field now.
Watch the coverage here. Ahmad Bradshaw is going to come in there. You see him make the tackle, and then he got his left hand in and knocked the ball out. That's the thing, everyone's doing that on tackling now. Even the kickoff coverage guys, you go down, and then when you have the tackle secured, you try and knock the ball out. See, he has the tackle, and he gets that left hand in and just knocks the ball out.
And that silenced this crowd with Jacobs now, as the Eagles try to dig in and try to, at worst, limit the Giants to a field goal attempt. Broderick Bunkley makes the tackle.
Yeah, we talk about the Giants having the best offensive line in football, and then the 3 runners and Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward or even Ahmad Bradshaw maybe in the second half as a change. And this is where that's big. When you get in the red zone, it's not that you have to run it in to score touchdowns, but the threat of the run makes it a lot easier to throw the ball.
Madison Hedgecock is the fullback, and they're going to give it to Jacobs, and he'll go right through the middle, take the ball to the 9-yard line. Take a look at the Giants recently in their last couple of games. They went to Pittsburgh. They won the game, but they only got into the end zone once in 6 drives that took them inside the 20-yard line. Then last week against Dallas, every time they got into the red zone, they scored a touchdown and won the game 35-14.
This is where you need your protection because you know you're going to get a big pass rush, third and long inside the red zone.
3rd and 6. They set Boss up in the slot to the left. They fake to Ward. Manning on the run, throws, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Boss, intended for Madison Hedgecock, and covered by Gokong on the play. It'll be 4th down, and the Eagles indeed limit the Giants to a field goal opportunity.
Yeah, we talked about how the bootleg was effective on 3rd and short, and here on 3rd and 6 it's not as effective because the Eagles weren't really playing tough run defense. They were kind of loose, so their linebackers could get out to those flats.
27-yard attempt now. Tynes is active, but John Carney will still do the field goal kicking. They may use Tynes for the longer kicks. Carney's done a great job at the age of 44 when Tynes got hurt. 21st season out of Notre Dame. Jeff Fiegels at the age of 42 will put it down. So it's an 86-year-old combination that connects for the 3-pointer. 6:45 to go in the opening quarter in Philadelphia. The Giants have the lead 10-7. Right here on NBC, the city of brotherly love, the Liberty Bell, Independence Hall, and out of Lincoln Financial Field. So Quentin Demps, a rookie, that was his 26th run back of the season and his first fumble. He's averaging 24 yards per return. Eagles have been much better this year in special teams play, especially the return game, than last year. Now Demps again for some redemption. Out to the 36-yard line, and that's where McNabb and company will take over after the tackle by Sam Madison. Back we come to Philadelphia after this. Donovan McNabb, the Eagles' #1 pick 10 years ago. He came to Philadelphia, same time Andy Reid did. His career record, as you see, against the Giants, and then 10 TDs and no picks in his last 6 games against Big Blue.
Donovan McNabb does not throw interceptions.
From the 35-yard line on first down, that pass is incomplete off the hands of L.J. Smith. Let's take a look at the Eagle offense.
Donovan McNabb, Syracuse University.
Brian Westbrook, Villanova.
Dan Klecko, Temple University. Kevin Curtis, Utah State.
Deshaun Jackson, Long Beach Poly. L.J. Smith, Rutgers University.
Trey Thomas, Florida State.
Nick Cole, New Mexico State.
Jamal Jackson, Delaware State.
Maxine Gillis, Georgia. John Runyon, Michigan.
Crowd booing on that last play because L.J. Smith dropped it. Smith was hurt last week, and his backup, Brent Selleck, had a tremendous day at Seattle. Here is Brian Westbrook. His carry takes it to the 39-yard line. So the crowd's been getting on Smith. A lot of fans around town think that Selleck should take his spot right now. LJ in his 6th year was the #2 pick back in '03, and Selleck coming off a tremendous performance against the Seahawks.
Right, and it's just good to have 2 of them, and LJ Smith is a starter, and they can put Brent Selleck in anytime they want, and Andy Reid knows that, Donovan McNabb knows that, but they have 6 active wide receivers, and they just interchange them all. They play all 6 of them.
There's a little tri-bunch to the right side. 3 receivers right there, bottom of the screen. And McNabb will look over the middle and go to the left side, and the pass is incomplete. Something you see teams do very often. They'll line up 3 guys one way. You won't even look in that direction. You go the other way. Intended for L.J. Smith, covered by Michael Johnson. And McNabb starts the day 0 for 3. Bad start, but a terrific finish for him last week at Seattle.
I think he started last week. He was 0 for 7. And, I asked him, how does that happen? He said, most of the time it's just footwork. He said, I just don't get into a rhythm, and I don't feel comfortable, and I don't have my feet in the right places. But eventually I get it straightened out.
And there's Sav Rocca, who cannot stop it from going into the end zone. It bounced at the 2-yard line and rolls in for the touchback. Giants have the ball when we come back, leading by 3. Obviously, one of the keys to success to have an offensive line working well together. And one way you do that is to stay healthy. So there they are, Deal, Soybert, O'Hara, Snee, and McKenzie. They've started their last 25 games together. So that's a season and a half. And right now, people are beginning to talk about this line as good as any in the NFL.
Well, they are, and not only have they been together that long, but they play so well together. That's the key.
They provide enough of a hole for Derek Ward to pick up 7 yards. And so, the offensive linemen, always anonymous. Take a closer look at the guys along the offensive front for the New York Giants. Kareem McKenzie looking very professorial.
And they're going to catch heck for that, too.
Oh, of course they are.
I mean, that's the old rule in the NFL. Offensive linemen never pose.
That looked like a GQ shoot.
Right. And they're looking for a nickname for themselves.
Yeah. 2nd and 3. Play fake and a ton of time and a very clean pocket and a first down out to the 47-yard line. Amani Toomer cruising over the middle. Amani Toomer in his 13th season, gain of 20, makes his 2nd catch of the night. 2 catches for 29 yards for Toomer.
Yeah, we talk about Eli being comfortable in the pocket, and it's this kind of protection. It's play action, pass protection, but look, there is no one within 5 yards of Eli Manning when he throws this ball. So on the other end of that, Amani Toomer can run that deep end.
Tremendous pass blocking by the boys up front. Now Ward with a huge hole, and that's an 8-yard gain as he takes it into Philadelphia territory. Madison Hedgecock, number 39, the fullback, started his career with the Rams, does a great job paving the way, and he did some road grading here.
Right, and he does in the I formation. You see, he gets the good block there, but Ward leaves it. He has the patience here. Now, if you over-pursue to the side of the lead, then the cutback is there, and that's what Derek Ward took.
Giants have gained 132 yards. The Eagles have gained 12. Eagles got their touchdown after the interception on a 9-yard drive. 2nd and a deuce. Good protection again to the outside. Pass caught by Ward. Slips the tackle, and then he is finally forced out of bounds by Joselio Hansen after he broke away from a tackle by the heralded free agent from New England, Asante Samuel. Gain of 14, first down Giants.
Yeah, one of the biggest matchups for the Giants tonight is going to be David Deal right here against Trent Cole, because Trent Cole is a speed pass rusher. He tries to get underneath you and around you. And David Deal has really done a good job of solidifying this line at the left tackle position.
Jacobs back in the game. Jacobs has carried the ball 5 times. Ward has carried the ball 5 times. And Bradshaw, the third running back, made a big play, forcing a fumble on special teams. Jacobs, just like a bulldozer. A gain of 7.
You know, that's a lot of power going in one hole, and you see the first guy leading is Madison Hedgecott, and he weighs 266 pounds, and here comes Brandon Jacobs at 264. But watch these two guys here. I mean, the power that goes in there, that's going to push any pile back 4 or 5 yards. Look at how this thing is pushed here and just going and going and going. And that's offense. You always want all piles to go forward. Defense, you want all piles to go backward.
530 pounds coming at you. Good protection again. Pass caught. And that's another first down as Amani Toomer got position on Asante Samuel. So even though Samuel, great cornerback with New England, tremendous all-pro, they went out and spent a lot of money to get him in free agency, but they're working on him tonight.
Well, that's one thing I like about what the Giants are doing now is they're moving Plexico Burress around, and they used to just have him mostly on the left side here, but now he'll be on the right side, and then they'll move him to the left side, they'll move him in the slot, and then of course that means Amani Toomer has to then move to the other side.
From the gun. 14-yard line.
Flex goes down here at the bottom. Now they fake the blitz and then drop out of it.
Brown's covering him. Pass is caught to Amani Toomer. So Toomer, a very big part of the plan here in the first quarter, tackled by Gokong. Amani has already caught 4 passes as we tick down to 1 minute remaining in the opening period.
Yeah, I was talking about Trent Cole as being a speed rusher, but when those speed rushers come with a bull rush or an inside move, they can take a big tackle and knock him backward with it.
2nd and 6. And this is Ward. And Ward that time can't bounce away from the initial contact as Trent Cole, number 58, is right there to stop him. With under a minute now, it'll be 3rd down and 7 for the New York Giants at the 10-yard line.
And this has to be a passing situation. Obviously, Tom Coughlin was talking about last night how tough this Eagle defense is. One, in the red zone, he said that the closer to the goal line you get, the tougher they are. And when you get to the goal line, he says they have the best defense, the best goal line defense he's ever seen.
3rd and 7 with 4 wide against the Philly nickel. And Manning will throw, and that pass will be caught, and it is caught by Toomer at the 1-yard line. And that's going to take us down to the end of a first quarter in which the Philadelphia Eagles had the ball for 90 seconds. And the Giants have outgained them 176 to 12. 1st and goal when we come back to start the second quarter from Philadelphia. Aerial coverage tonight is being brought to you by Duracell as you look at downtown Philadelphia. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Andrea Kramer here at Lincoln Financial Field in South Philadelphia, home of the world champion Philadelphia Phillies, who play their games across the parking lot at Citizens Bank Park. And now we start the second quarter with a 1st and goal for the New York Giants, who lead by 3. And threatened to go up by 10. Jacobs is the running back. Hedgecott is the fullback from inside the 1. The fake to Jacobs. And Manning hit as he throws. And that pass is caught for a touchdown by Kevin Boss. So they go to the air off the play fake. And Manning has been tremendous tremendously successful on play action against Philadelphia over the past couple of years. Trent Cole put the pressure on, but Eli gets it away, and the Giants up by 9 going on 10.
I think this play here shows the respect Tom Coughlin has for that goal line defense. If you're going to run a play action pass in the goal line, it's better to do it on first and second down. You can't wait to third down. So if you're going to do it right now. If you don't think that you're going to be able to run it in easily, then come up with a play action pass and get a catch like that from Kevin Boss.
Good catch by Boss. He has now caught touchdown passes in 3 straight games. Feagles is able to get the errant snap down, and Carney bangs it through. So the New York Giants are up 17-7. You know, you think about the Giants, if you go back a year and a half, you know, Tom Coughlin's job is in jeopardy. Tiki Barber has retired. Michael Strahan is thinking about retiring. The offensive line is in flux. It's a secondary full of question marks. It looks like a team on the decline, John. They were 6-2 the year prior in the first half, 2-6. You fast forward, Coughlin is a Coach of the Year candidate. The offensive line is terrific. Nobody really misses Tiki. I mean, Tiki's a great guy, but I mean, that running game is fantastic. Jeremy Shockey's in New Orleans, and nobody misses him. The secondary has a bunch of young guys playing extremely well. They've got a Lombardi Trophy in the lobby, and they're looking at a very good possibility of another one.
Right, and look who has the C on his jersey there. Eli Manning, the guy that they said, you know, wasn't a leader, you couldn't do this. If you play well, you're a leader, and that's all you have to do. But the big game to me was their game against New England. The last game of the season, I think that's what won the Super Bowl for them. You know, it was all in. You know, they were in the playoffs already. It didn't mean anything, but they really went after the undefeated Patriots. And to me, that springboarded them into the World Championship.
Quentin Dempsey will take it from the 7-yard line, and he electrifies the crowd with a good run back out to near midfield to the 48-yard line. And we'll take a look right now at the Giant defense after the 40-yard return.
Justin Tuck, Notre Dame.
Barry Cofield, Northwestern.
Fred Robbins, Wake Forest.
Matthias Kiwanuka, Boston College.
Danny Clark, Illinois.
AP,
Arizona.
Chase Blackburn, Akron.
Aaron Ross, Lee, University of Texas.
Mike Johnson, Arizona.
Kenneth Phillips, DU.
Corey Webster, LSU.
That is Jonathan Goff, who would be Antonio Pierce's backup and special teams performer, needing some attention. Injury timeout. Checking out Jonathan Goff on the sideline, and take a look at this. This was a 3-on-1.
There's Nick Cole there is going to do the damage, though. I mean, that is a collision, 3 guys, and he picks Nick Cole. He picks the middle of the guy, picks the middle guy to take on. That's the last thing he remembers.
Would you rather be a wedge buster or wash windows on the 60th floor?
I'd rather be a wedge buster, but that doesn't mean that I want to. Yeah, I wouldn't want the latter.
From the 47-yard line, this is Brian Westbrook carrying the 49-yard line. So the Eagles have had the ball so infrequently in this game. That's only Westbrook's second carry of the night.
Yeah, and Donovan McNabb is going to have to start a rhythm. I mean, he hasn't had enough plays to do anything with yet. But what he has to do is just get a completion, then get another completion, then get a couple first downs, and get the roll going like that.
Donovan 0 for 3. Second down and 7 from the 50. McNabb with time. Throws, and he's lucky that wasn't picked off by Aaron Ross. Ross got in front of the intended receiver, Kevin Curtis, and nearly had an interception. It'll be 3rd down and 7, and McNabb is now 0 for his first 4.
Yeah, you watch Aaron Ross here, and that's what happens when a guy reads pattern and he has help over the top. Then that means that he can play it underneath and undercut it. See, if he didn't have a safety over the top, he couldn't do that because all the receiver would have to do is go deep. But with a receiver playing like that, he can play underneath and then undercut that pass.
At the end of that play, Curtis becomes the defensive back to preclude the interception. 3rd and 7, the heat is on, and the pass is incomplete, and that's Kenny Phillips, their #1 draft choice out of Miami, the rookie, who comes free right through the middle to force it. 4th and 7.
Yeah, we were talking about Spagnuolo and the different things that the Giants defense does. Watch this. They show the overload on that side and then bring the blitz from that side. So what happened is McNabb is watching and he's calling his protection to the right, and then the pressure comes from his left.
Phillips getting the start in place of the injured James Butler, inactive tonight. Punt fielded and fair caught at the 19 by Dominic Hickson. Giants get it back early second quarter. New York up by 10.
This is Sunday night.
And back we come, the Giants on offense. If you joined us late, Manning threw an interception in the first minute and a half of the game as Jacobs takes it to the 24. The Eagles had a 1st and goal from the 9 and went in to score. And since then, the Giants have had the ball almost exclusively, lead by 10 and have it here 2nd down and 5.
You know, when you talk to Jim Johnson about the problems you have defensively with the Giants is you have to keep a safety over the top of Plexico Burress because you don't want to get beat deep. So that means that you have to have 4 back, and that means you have to play the run with 7. And the running game and the offensive line is so good that it's tough to play with just 7 guys, and that's a dilemma that he's in now.
Jacobs, how do you stop him? To the 34-yard line.
Well, usually you would say, you know, bring that 8th guy down. If you have to bring a safety down, you'll get the extra guys in there. But if you do that, then you give them stuff deep. So you have to keep that safety back there. But I'll tell you, here's the guy that is really the most improved Giant that I watch is Madison Hedgecock. I mean, a year ago I thought he was a very average fullback. I watch him on film now, and he is a dominant fullback, a dominant lead blocker.
Now you've got Ward in the game behind Hitchcock from the 34-yard line. Here comes Ward to the outside. And Ward takes it to the 36. I mean, they're all interesting stories with Jacobs going to a junior college and then Auburn and Southern Illinois. And here's Ward, who was drafted by the Giants. He drafted by the Jets, waived by them, picked up by the Giants, started his college career at Fresno State, left college, went to work in television production at Warner Brothers, then wound up going to Ottawa University in Kansas, and here he is, a star with the Giants, or on his way to being a star anyway.
No, he is. I mean, that's the 1-2 punch, and it's a very, very dominant 1-2 punch. And then, as we said, it could be a 1-2-3 punch when they put a Mark Bradshaw in.
2nd and 7. Here's Ward. And that'll be close to a 1st down. He keeps going. He'll go from a production assistant to a guy they'll write a movie about.
And then a guy that, if he keeps running and gaining 1,000 yards a year, will be owning movies. What do they call those guys that own them? The investors or the producers or
moguls?
Moguls, executive producers.
These days, I don't know what you call anybody who invests in anything. No. They're going to measure here.
Or anyone that has money, say, where'd they come from?
Right. Dig up a couple of cans in the backyard. And that will be a 1st down. Terry McCauley is the referee tonight. First time we've mentioned his name because there has been nary a penalty tonight. There it is. Jacobs and Ward, and we're talking about the balance that this team has had with running and passing, and then they have a balance inside the running game as well.
Right, and you know, I was saying how much Hedgecock has improved from last year. To me, Brandon Jacobs has improved immensely. I mean, before he kind of looked like a fullback running at tailback. This year he looks like, to me, a tailback running at tailback.
From the 44-yard line, they fake it to him. And Manning's going to get sacked. So the play fake that time didn't stop the rush as Trent Cole and Mike Patterson come in from left end and right tackle, respectively, to get the sack of Manning.
Trent Cole is one of those relentless pass rushers. I mean, no matter what, he just keeps going and going and going and keeps working and gets that shoulder down. And once you can get that shoulder even and then get it down and get underneath it, then you have the leverage and the power, and you have your guy beat.
Cole small but quick. Pro Bowl type player. Now you've got Jacobs and Ward both coming in, and Philadelphia takes a look at that and takes a defensive timeout. 2nd and 19 when we come back. Well, we'll go to Washington next week. Dallas and the Redskins. Very important game, obviously, for both teams. Another NFC East matchup. Football night gets things started at 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific. Both the Cowboys and the Redskins with bye weeks this week. And back we go with that rivalry next Sunday night. It is 2nd down and 19 now. And out of the shotgun, the inside handoff on the run to Ward. Up to the 39-yard. That's a gain of 4. It'll be 3rd and 15.
You know, I was talking about what Plexico Burress does, even on a running play. And you see it keeps Dawkins back here. Here's Plexico Burress here. Here's Samuels here. So they have to double him. Now that keeps the safeties out. So that means that there's 7 guys in the box. Now with 7 guys in the box and a big running back and a good offensive line, you will usually win that battle.
And now on 3rd down and 15, 3 linemen putting their hands down. Minimal rush. Manning will throw underneath. This is Boss, and Boss fights his way about 3 yards shy of the first down before he's tackled by Stuart Bradley. So Philadelphia could afford to give up a lot of ground, and they almost gave up too much.
Yeah, they went to the 3-man line and didn't come with a blitz again because it was 3rd and so long. Usually on 3rd and long, a normal long, like 3rd and 8 to 10, Jim Johnson loves to blitz in that situation. But when you get 3rd and more than 10, then he goes to a 3-man line and plays it safe.
Jeff Fiegels, the punting. You saw Deshaun Jackson, who scored the only Philadelphia touchdown tonight, back to receive it. But Fiegels is not going to let him have the opportunity because Jeff will punt it out of bounds. And they will line it up and stop it at the 18-yard line. And that's where the Philadelphia Eagles will take over. And Fiegels is pleading his case that he should have been given more yardage. Says McCauley. The Giants 7-1 coming into the game. Skins off this week. And when you look at the remaining schedule, the Giants have the toughest remaining schedule in the league, and the Eagles have the 3rd toughest. And when you take a look at the Cowboys, they're in last place, but with a winning record. And it's the first time a team has been in last place in its division with an over 500 mark since 1935. That's how tough the NFC East is. McNabb is 0 for 5 as he starts this drive from the 18-yard line. Westbrook and Pleco in the backfield. And they're going to give it to Jackson on an end around, and he's going to try to ignite him. A little spark here, an 11-yard gain tackled by the rookie safety, Kenny Phillips, first down.
Well, that's one thing the Eagles think that they can do is misdirection. Get flow going. Watch the defense flowing that way. Get flow going, and then come away from it. You get Westbrook going that way. All the flow goes towards him because he's the guy that they want to key. And then back the other way comes Deshaun Jackson.
It's only the Eagles' second first down of the game. The other was the touchdown in the first minute and a half. 1st and 10. The ball is at the 29-yard line. Fake to Westbrook. And McNabb throws, and he is still over. That's intended for Curtis and off his hands. And Donovan, who started last week's game 3 for 13 and then finished 25 out of 30 at Seattle, 0 for 6 tonight.
And he's that type of quarterback. I mean, we've been watching Donovan McNabb for a long time, and he's a streaky quarterback. And the minute you think that, it's going to be a long night for McNabb, he'll hit 20 out of 20. I mean, that is still in him. And to me, that is still to come tonight. I believe that.
2nd and 10. Defense pressing the line of scrimmage for the Giants. Here they come. Pressure on McNabb. To the outside he goes. He finally completes one. And that's Reggie Brown making the catch. That's a gain of 6. It'll be 3rd down. Let's check in with Andrea.
Well, yeah, guys, before the game, I was talking with Eagles quarterback coach Pat Shurmur exactly about what you're talking about, McNabb's streakiness. He said when he sits upstairs, the number one thing he watches is McNabb's feet. That's how he knows if he's in rhythm. Shurmur said that incompletions are due to poor footwork, and he's constantly reminding him during the game, stay in rhythm with your feet.
That time he got into rhythm with Brown. He's now 1 for 7 on 3rd down and 3 from the 36-yard line. And McNabb throws, and that will be not caught by Jackson. Coming away with it is Corey Webster, and now they'll come in and signal incomplete. So Jackson almost had it, then Webster looked like he might have intercepted it, and in comes the official to say, no, incomplete, 4th down.
You know, the Giants are really doing a good job defensively, you know, of pass rushing, putting pressure on McNabb, good tight coverage. I mean, you know, McNabb hasn't completed many, or he's only completed one, but he hasn't had a lot to throw to either.
Good work by the official. It's the dead right call. Dominic Hickson is back to accept the Sav Rocca punt. Hickson collects it at the 20-yard line. And working without much room, he'll get banged down by Jason Avant at the 23-yard line. Halfway through the second quarter. There's a look at the home of the world champion across the parking lot, the Philadelphia Phillies. The lineup on Wednesday nights on NBC, Knight Rider, Life, and Law and Order. 3 dramas Wednesday night. You're going to get 8 Eastern and Pacific. Eli Manning comes to the line of scrimmage with 7.5 minutes to play in the half. 17-7 New York after Philadelphia led briefly 7-0. Fake to Jacobs. Buys a ton of time. And the pass is caught, collected by Michael Matthews, the second tight end. Gain of 12 and a first down up at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, that's that same play that they had earlier. It's a bootleg. Eli Manning bootlegging to his right, and Matthews, his tight end, coming around to left. See, Matthews right here coming across. Eli Manning bootlegging to the same side, and that is a pretty easy throw. You get out where you can see everything, and you have a crosser, and you're going to get him in a window. You'll find him in an empty window.
Eli 13 out of 17 for 143. Jacobs to the outside. Jacobs loses the ball as he reached what would have been a first down, and the Eagles recovered. He dove over Asante Samuel and then loses the ball, and the Eagles with a big recovery. It's Mike Patterson, who earlier had the interception, who comes away with the fumble recovery.
Well, Asante Samuel's 5'10", 185. And you know that anytime you're the smaller guy, you're going to take the big guy low. So the big guy's thinking, if he's going to take me low, I'm going to jump over him. In that case, that's a mistake. I mean, I think he would have been a lot better just to put his shoulder down and take on the defensive back.
Ran into Chris Gokong. Patterson came up with a fumble recovery. The Giants have turned the ball over for the second time. From the 44 now on first down, they give it to Westbrook. Philadelphia's offense trying to get on track, and when it gets on track, it'll be Westbrook who will do a lot of the untracking.
Right, and that's what they have to do. They have to get in a rhythm now, and that rhythm is going to include Westbrook, and it also obviously has to include a big dose of Donovan McNabb.
Jacobs losing 2 fumbles in the game here. Last year, the Giants turned the ball over uncharacteristically 3 times last week. Look, all coaches hate turnovers, but Tom Coughlin may be #1 on that hate turnover list.
Right, and turnovers #1, penalties #2.
On 2nd and 6, McNabb buys time, finds the open man. That's Jason Avant. Their #3 receiver works very well coming out of the slot, and that's a first down for the Eagles at the Giant 25-yard line.
And this is what Donovan McNabb can do so well, is buy a little time. And he's here in shotgun, he fakes a draw, he fakes out there to the left, he feels his tackle there, moves a little to his right, gets a little more time, and then makes that throw. There's Trey Thomas, his left tackle on Kiwanuka there, getting a pretty good pass rush and making McNabb move to his right.
Westbrook. gets around the corner. He is taken down after a gain of 1. Michael Johnson, the safety, coming up to make the stop.
Yeah, and this is the area that the Eagles in the last 3 or 4 weeks have been working a lot on, is this red zone area close here. They figured that their offense was really good moving the ball until they got to this area, and then it always kind of bogged down. So in the last few weeks, they've been spending a lot of time on their offense in this area of the field.
2nd and 8. Fake to Westbrook. Jackson again. Swinging deep. Turning the corner. Picking up a few yards before he's taken out of bounds, and 3 flags come in at the end of the play because Sam Madison hit him when he was out of bounds, and that will move them ever so closer to the goal line.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 29, late hit out of bounds. After distance to the goal. First down.
First penalty of the game.
This is a pretty good play here. They catch the Giants. Watch, they pack them inside here because they catch them on a blitz. And then all Jackson had to do was make one guy miss right there, and then he had a free or soft corner. And then Sam Madison, he looked like he was trying to pull up. I mean, that's hitting him. It's after the whistle. It's out of bounds. It's all those things. But, the intent didn't look vicious.
Didn't look vicious, but he was way out of bounds.
No.
First and goal from the 10. And McNabb now under pressure, and he's just going to dump it because Fred Robbins and Matthias Kiwanuka were in his face and planked him on the Lincoln Financial Field turf.
Remember, he had that injury earlier, that chest contusion, and it's finally starting to feel better, but you can't take too many of these shots. Kiwanuka right then just going around Trey Thomas and using his speed rush. And the thing that the Giants do is with Kiwanuka and Tuck, they always give you pressure from the outside, but along with that, they have good pressure up the middle. Remember the Super Bowl.
This is Tom Brady. 2nd and goal. And that pass is caught at the 3-yard line and taken in by Jason Avant for the touchdown.
And this is the area that I said the Eagles have been working on. Here's Jason Avant. He's the inside receiver, and he runs what you call an option route. He starts up, he goes to the outside, and then he cuts back underneath.
He beats Terrell Thomas, the rookie out of USC, who looked like a rookie on that pattern.
Well, he went for the out.
Akers for the extra point. Rocket a hole. Eagles are lucky that the Giants have turned the ball over twice tonight because they've capitalized in both instances, and the Giant lead is now 3, 17-14 after the Jacobs fumble. 232-67. The Eagles are in the game because of the 2 turnovers. The Giants had not lost a single fumble all season until last week when Manning lost 2. Jacobs loses 1 tonight. He had the early interception, 14 points off those turnovers, and thus the game is close at 17-14. Short kick, fielded up at the 10-yard line. Derek Ward will take it away from Bradshaw. They were both back there to the 32-yard line. Late tuners in, the Giants got started with this ignominious beginning. Patterson with the interception. He set him up with a 1st and goal. And then Jacobs loses the fumble here after the high hurdle at the 45-yard line. Madison hits Jackson as he's going out of bounds for the personal foul. The next thing you know, Avant is in the end zone, and the game is 17-14.
And Brandon Jacobs has to learn that, you shouldn't jump, but if he jumps over and makes a great run, we'll say what a great athlete he is. But I think when you're that size and you're him and you can bend your knees like that, you just get your shoulder down a little low.
Inside handoff fake, and then Manning will just throw it into the ground because Jaquay Parker put the pressure on Eli that time and nearly had the sack. And there's the vice president-elect Joe Biden, who's a guest of Jeffrey Lurie, the Eagles owner. And, of course, Delaware, the adjoining state. And Jeff Lurie telling me that the senator has been to a number of Eagles games through the years. Second down and 10. McCauley stopping the play momentarily because one of the Giants a little slow in getting off the field.
You know what Eli did on that last play is what Tom Coughlin was talking about last night. He said if he gets pressure, he said, I don't want him to throw an interception or make a stupid throw. I want him to throw the ball away legally.
Here's Ward. And Ward weaving his way through traffic, takes it up to the 38-yard line. Tackled by Omar Gaither. Gaither, one of 3 linebackers. It's a new group here with Gaither and Bradley. Bradley in his 2nd year. Gokong in his 3rd year. Gaither also in his 3rd year. And they've kind of revamped it. You know, we always thought about Jeremiah Trotter, who was here and went and came back. But now you've got 3 new guys for Jim Johnson.
And I like Stuart Bradley, the middle linebacker. I think that he has really helped this defense in general, but the middle of the line, the 2 tackles and him, I think he'd help that part of the defense specifically.
All 25 or younger. 3rd down and 4. Manning, good protection, looks to the outside, and the pass is incomplete. He would have been stopped shy of the 1st down anyway. That's Steve Smith, who would have been tackled by Joselio Hansen, and it's 4th down. So the crowd is alive again. Coughlin still muttering over those turnovers in the back of his mind anyway. 3 minutes to play in the half, and then comes the punting group.
Yeah, and the fans are experiencing a change of momentum here, and that's what this is all about. They can just feel, I mean, they were down, you knew that, you know, they're not going to stay bad all night, that something's going to happen, and it's starting to turn their way now.
I'm not sure how you mutter in your mind, but you get the idea. Here's Spiegels. And that punt, you're a coach, John, you know what it's like to mutter in your mind, right?
Most coaches have muttered minds. Most wedge breakers have muttered minds.
They do. Andy Reid, remember he had Spagnuolo on his staff, and the irony of this is, you know, you wonder who would be coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's the lineage here? Well, when Brad Childress left the Eagles staff to be the head coach of Minnesota, he wanted to bring Spagnuolo with him as the defensive coordinator. Andy said, no, you go find your own guys. He then told Spagnuolo, the next time you get a job offer as a DC defensive coordinator, I'll give it to you. In the meantime, Childress winds up hiring Tomlin. Tomlin goes there for 1 year, now goes to Pittsburgh, and Spagnuolo, of all things, goes to the Eagles' chief rival.
Right, and then Andy Reid said, that was a stupid thing I said, wasn't it?
As it turned out. 1st and 10, the ball is at the 15-yard line. And they have a dangerous pass to Jackson behind the line of scrimmage, and he's forced out of bounds by the rookie Terrell Thomas, who was beaten on that touchdown play before.
Yeah, those passes are getting more and more dangerous in this league because I think that short stuff, that screen stuff, that behind the line of scrimmage passing, I think works after you've thrown deep, after you get the defense off. But see how tight the Giant defense is? You see, they're right up there on the receivers, and if the defense is up there that tight, there is no way that play has a chance. I think there's even some holding there by Terrell Buckholder.
We got Buckholder and Westbrook both in the backfield here. They give it to Brian, and Westbrook takes it up to the 13-yard line. Buckholder leading the way with a block, and that's going to take us, that's going to stop the clock with 2:16 because the Eagles, or the Giants, are going to take a timeout here. The Giants will take a defensive timeout on this side of the 2-minute warning because it's 3rd down and 12. And let's go back to Andrea.
We are taking that Spagnuolo hiring here in New York one step further. Tom Coughlin was telling me that the timing of his hiring in New York ended up being crucial because once Brad Childress lost Mike Tomlin to Pittsburgh as their head coach, Coughlin felt that Childress would try to come back and hire Spagnuolo a 2nd time. So even though he knew of but didn't really know Spagnuolo, he felt he had to move swiftly and bring him to the Giants.
And just an addendum on that, Andrea, as we all know, the Washington Redskins waited until after the Super Bowl because they wanted to interview Spagnuolo for the head coaching job. He went down there, he met with Dan Snyder. Now, you know, there's a little bit of revisionist history going on here. Everybody who knows anything about it feels that Spagnuolo could have had the job and declined it, and Jim Zorn wound up with the job.
Yeah, that would be my story, or my part of the story, or what I heard that Spagnuolo was offered the job at Redskins.
3rd down and 12. He'll be offered another job at some point. There's no question about that. McNabb throwing, and that's picked off at the 35-yard line. So Sam Madison will take the ball inside the 15-yard line on a pass intended for Jackson. Madison, who was the recipient of that personal foul penalty, which set the Eagles up for their 2nd touchdown, comes up with an interception here. Sam Madison.
You see Sam Madison is playing a corner here, and again, it's that cover 2 type corner where he's going to play underneath. He's playing underneath because he has a safety in behind him. So again, he can undercut it, he can play it if it's short, and that's exactly what it was. McNabb tried to get it over Sam Madison in front of the safety. Sam Madison made a heck of a play.
12th year in the league, longtime Dolphin, first pick this year, and 38th of Madison's career. The ball is at the 14-yard line. Manning will spread him out. Here come the Eagles to put the pressure on. The pass is dropped by Ward. Hot read, Ward coming over the middle. Brian Dawkins on the safety blitz. It'll be 2nd down and 10 with 2:03 to play in the half.
Eli Manning did a good job of reading that and getting rid of the ball. He sees that he's going to get pressure, and he knows that there's a free rusher coming from that side, so he has to get back quickly and get the ball out of his hands. Eli Manning did his job.
2nd and 10 at the 14.
Let's have 3 wide receivers, 2 on this side.
Give it to Ward. Inside the 10. Then Ward will get bent back at the 8-yard line, and the 2-minute warning comes with 1:55 to play in the half. It'll be 3rd and 4 when we come back to Philadelphia, where the Giants lead the Eagles by 3. First play on the other side of the 2-minute warning now. 1:55 remaining in the half. 3rd down and 4. Derek Ward is the running back in this set. He is offset. You got Kevin Boss split wide to the right. You got 3 receivers, John Circlin, then to the left. And Manning under center, looking to the right, throwing, and the pass is incomplete. He tried to get it to Kevin Boss. The coverage was good. Quentin Michael in on the coverage, and the Giants will bring in the field goal group.
Yeah, that was the same thing. You put 3 on one side, and then you get man-to-man over here. Quentin Michael is the safety, and he's playing the tight end on Kevin Boss. And you can see if he looked in there, had he looked at Plexico Burris, it would have been a touchdown. But I think he wanted his 3 over there. You guys look over there. I want to go back here to Boss.
John Carney at the age of 44, playing in his 283rd NFL game. And the former Notre Damer will bang this one through out of the hold of Jeff Fiegels. And they cashed in for 3 after the Sam Madison interception of McNabb to make it 20-14. Bob Costas and the gang at 30 Rock. They'll take a look at Week 10 highlights. Adrian Peterson had a big day for the Minnesota Vikings as they knocked off the Green Bay Packers. Colts with another comeback. So all of a sudden, Indianapolis with those 2 straight wins are on a roll. That's a victory, of course, for Peyton Manning, and now we'll see about Eli Manning tonight as McNabb loosens up. Donovan just 4 out of 13 to this point for 27 yards.
That's an interesting thing he has there in his left hand, isn't it? That's
going to the oven.
Yeah, I think you call that a mitt or a mitten.
That's right. For Thanksgiving, to take the turkey out of the oven.
You always think you'd want to keep your throwing arm or your throwing hand warm, and he's doing that by throwing it. And his other hand he has in the mitten. There's Kevin Gilbride there looking at the defenses that the Eagles have been giving him.
Along with Manning and the backup quarterback David Carr. Tynes is going to kick off, and Demps takes it at the 2-yard line. Demps gets spun down by Blackburn. at the 27-yard line. So the Eagles down by 6 have the ball. And as you take a look at Donovan McNabb's family, Sam all the way to the left, Wilmot checking out their man, off to a slow start tonight, but his team, thanks to a couple of turnovers, only down by 6 points.
Yeah, when the Eagles played the Bears in Chicago, they came in and cooked dinner for the whole team. And it was something very, very special.
You had part of it.
Yes, I did.
First-hand experience.
Yeah.
To the 28-yard line. Set up the screen. Westbrook with some blocking. He's going to come up a little short of the first down. Antonio Pierce makes the tackle. The Eagles have 2 timeouts left. 2nd and 1. Taking a lot of time.
Yeah, too much time. I'd get that first down.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd's getting restless. Four-man rush from the 37, gunned over the middle and finds the open man, and that's the tight end L.J. Smith, who gets free in the middle of the field. That will move the ball to the 44-yard line and take us under a minute. And timeout taken now by Philadelphia, their second.
And in 2nd and short, this is a pretty good down to do this. You see, L.J. Smith just comes off the line. It's a zone defense. No one bumps him on or near the line. He is free all the way. And he ran all the way down the field, just looking back at Donovan McNabb. You know, it's interesting where the Eagles defense has done a pretty good job is both teams have had 2 turnovers. And when the Eagles had their 2 turnovers, a fumble and interception, the Giants just got field goals for 6 points. And then conversely, when the Giants had their 2 turnovers, the Eagles got 14 points. So 6 points in turnovers.
And that's why the Giants and Eagles are as close as they are, because the yardage, when you look at overall yardage, 244 for the Giants and 94 for Philadelphia. Now McNabb on first down will throw, and he goes to Smith again. He gets taken down by Pierce. He'll spot the ball at the 36-yard line. McNabb coming up to the line of scrimmage as if he's going to spike the ball to save some time here, and he will. So that'll make it 3rd down and a short 3 with 41 seconds remaining in the half. You know, in a situation like that, I'm just wondering, you know, aren't you better served just coming up and running the play instead of spiking it here with 40
I would think so,
seconds?
because then you put yourself in 3rd down, and if you don't get a first down, it's not a 2-down situation, because if you don't get a first down here, I think you'd have to try a field goal.
Right.
So put him in a tough spot here.
3rd and 3 from the 36-yard line. They give it to Westbrook. He'll get around the outside, and he will lunge for the first down at the 32-yard line. And that will create another timeout taken by Philadelphia, and that will be their final one with 36 seconds to play before halftime. Look back at some of the highlights of the game. That's the way it started for Patterson with the interception. Then out of the Wildcat formation, Deshaun Jackson made it very quickly, 7-0 Philadelphia. But the rest of the first quarter dominated by the Giants. Burris gets the touchdown here. Interception here by Sam Madison in the second half. 4 turnovers, 2 by each team tonight. Madison is in the game, by the way, because Corey Webster has a groin pull and has been on the bench. So Madison getting a lot of action, and they're telling us that Webster's return, Webster's had a great season, is questionable. And Sammy Knight is also in the game right now. So you have a 12th-year safety and a 12th-year cornerback on 1st and 10 for Philadelphia at the 33-yard line.
And their nickel defense, 5 defensive backs.
Pressure put on, pass caught, 28-yard line. That's Sammy Knight wrestling Kevin Curtis back, and now McNabb's trying to get up to the line of scrimmage.
He has to get up there and spike it. He's going to try and call a play. I would have spiked it, then called the play.
At that point, yeah, it took a lot of time. 15, 14, counting down. Now they work in the middle of the field. Westbrook has to get out of bounds, and he does at the 11-yard line. He knew exactly what he had to do. You throw it over the middle, but he's got to get to the sideline, and he did. And now do you take one more shot at the end zone before you bring in the field goal group? It looks like that's what they'll do.
Right, that's why I would have spiked it earlier, because then you would have had this play, then you would have had time to take a shot. This is going to be very, very tight. You can do it. McNabb hasn't been sacked yet in this first half, so they're doing a pretty good job of protecting him. But he has to get back there, get rid of the ball quickly, and get it into the end zone.
End zone or sideline. Definitely not take a sack. Short drop, steps back, goes to the corner of the end zone. The pass is incomplete with 5 seconds, intended for Kevin Curtis. And now Andy Reid will wave Akers and the rest of the special teams guys out onto the field.
Aaron Ross is man-to-man on Curtis, and he gets up there and he just covers him with his quickness. You know, he didn't jam him at all, but Ross has such quick feet that anything that Curtis would do, Ross just did right with him.
29-yard attempt. Sav Rocca to hold it. And Akers will bang it through. And we've had a total of 37 points in a very interesting first half in which the Giants have outgained Philadelphia by a margin of 2-1. Possessed them 2-1. And yet it's a 3-point game at the half, 20-17, New York. So at a halftime show, Bob and the gang coming up on the other side of the break.
This is one of those rivalries when you go out there, it's physical for 60 minutes, nonstop, have your head on the swivel, because it's going to be physical.
It's just going to come down to who's going to beat their body up, who's going to pound on the other guy more to take that game away from him.
And now that pass is taken away by Patterson. And it is caught by Burris. And back we come to Lincoln Financial Field here in Philadelphia, where the Giants and the Eagles are on a 3-point game. Giants on top by a field goal. Once again, the East standings, Redskins and Cowboys have their bye week. Giants 7-1 coming in. Skins are 6-3. They'll meet the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football next week. So the Eagles will either go to 6-3 and make this a wild scramble in this division, or the Giants will go to 8-1 and have a clear shot at winning the NFC East and maybe getting a bye.
And, you know, didn't you know that this is going to be such a big game and it's going to come down to the fourth quarter? I think every player and coach that we talked to all said the same thing. It's going to be a physical game, and it's going to come down to the end of it.
As so many of them have through the years. Quentin Demps to run the kickback up past the 30. Demps to the 40-yard line, and then the ball comes loose, but after the play had been whistled dead. Demps had fumbled on a kickoff return in the first half. So Plaxico Burris, we haven't heard that much from him, or Justin Tuck rather, Burris as well. Let's take a look at Tuck first.
Well, you see him inside there on Todd Harriman's, and then I think John Runyon has done a great job on him, because Tuck lines up at that left defensive end over Runyon most of the time. And Runyon in the first half has really been an eraser on Tuck.
So Tuck erased in the first half, and outside of that one catch for the touchdown, Burris has not caught a ball for the Giants offense in the first half. We start with Westbrook carrying for a gain of 1. He's tackled there by Ross, and they have held Westbrook in check tonight. That's 7 carries for 17 yards for Brian.
Well, when you talk to the Giant defenders and Steve Spagnuolo, their defensive coordinator, and you say, what do you have to do? You know, what's the order? What are your goals? The first thing is always Westbrook. The first thing we have to do is contain Brian Westbrook. We have to know where he is. Antonio Pierce says we have to hit him when he has the ball, and we have to hit him when he doesn't have the ball.
Now they split Westbrook out to the left. Corey Webster is back in the secondary for the Giants. And the pass is caught at the 43-yard line by Deshaun Jackson. Tackled by Michael Johnson. And a first down on the Giants side of the 50. That's a gain of 17.
Yeah, they can do so many things with Deshaun Jackson. We see him here. He is. He's the inside receiver or the slot, and he's just going to run a deep cross. He starts up the field, goes up about 10 or 12 yards, and then starts on a cross. Very, very good pass protection for McNabb.
First and 10 from the Giant 43-yard line. Play action. Over the middle, into traffic, caught by Smith. Gain of 9. Antonio Pierce frustrated that Smith was able to come down with the ball despite the good coverage. Second down and 1.
That was a Hall of Fame throw. I mean, that one, there was a very, very small window to get that ball into. And McNabb is so big and so strong, and he has such a quick release. Watch when that thing comes out. He really can't step into it, but he put everything he had on that to get the ball to Smith. Watch that. He even kind of double pumped it.
Good catch by Smith. He's their leading receiver now. He's caught 3 for 36. To the outside goes Buckhalter for a first down and a lot more before Antonio Pierce finally runs him down out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Gain of 20.
That was the thing that Steve Spagnuolo was talking about stopping. He said, we can't let him get to the outside. The strong side, we have to set the edge. And they didn't get the edge set. And you see what happens. Watch Tuck gets blocked right there. The linebacker doesn't get to the outside, and Buckhalter can just outrun them all.
You got around Webster at the edge, gain of 20 yards, the ball at the 14-yard line. They're going to give it to Westbrook coming back to the right side. And Westbrook banging his way inside the 10, fights his way to the 8-yard line.
And again, they didn't get the edge set there, and Westbrook was able to get outside of them. They want to, set that edge, get up the field, make everything go back to the inside. And anytime you get to the outside, bounce to the outside, get around the end, your defense has not set their edge.
That was a gain of 7. Drive began back at the Philadelphia 40 after the good run back by Quentin Dempsey. Second and 4. McNabb throwing the fade into the corner of the end zone. Caught for a touchdown by Hank Baskett on his first reception of the night. He beats Aaron Ross, and Philadelphia has the lead.
This is something I watched them practice the other day, and they practiced this all afternoon. Just about the 10-yard line, just going back, just throwing the ball up in the end zone, and having the receivers go for it in a jump ball. That time it was Hank Baskett, but they did it to 3 or 4 different receivers from that location on the field in practice.
The 6'4" Baskett over the 6 feet even Ross. Now Akers for the extra point. And for the first time since early in the game, the Eagles are on top with 11:24 to play in the third quarter in Philadelphia. The Eagles 24. And the Giants 20. You know, John, I don't think I've ever had a cannoli with you, but I think tonight may be the night after looking at this.
Yeah, those aren't good. I have some in the bus, and I haven't tried them yet, but I'm sure they are good.
You hiding them?
Yeah, no, you can come down after me. They started out looking like tacos and ended up cannolis.
I like that transition. Juggled, picked back up. Bradshaw, and Ahmad takes it out to the 31-yard line. Manning will go to back to work, and the Giants are down by 4. Giant defenders on the bench there. Spagnuolo going over things with Tuck and the rest of the guys after Philadelphia moves quickly and effectively on their first drive of the third quarter to take the lead. Now the Giants, with Jacobs the running back, Hedgecock the fullback, first down from the 31-yard line. There's Jacobs working his way through the middle for a gain of 6, and we go to Andrea.
Well, guys, the Eagles' opening drive of the quarter to take the lead played right into Tom Coughlin's biggest concern at halftime, the lack of a pass rush on Donovan McNabb. He has yet to be sacked. Coughlin said that McNabb is getting the ball out so quickly, and they have to work harder at getting their players up the field. But for him, he said the biggest story of this game, the 2 turnovers. He said, we can't be over-aggressive. We have to take better care of the ball.
And as we said before, Tom Coughlin just moaning about the turnovers last week despite a 21-point win. Here is Jacobs, and he'll pick up a first down. And through the years, when you look at Tom Coughlin, who's now coached 200 NFL games, his teams have averaged just 1.53 turnovers per game. That is amazingly low, and there it is. In fact, it's tied for the lowest rate with Tony Dungy in NFL history among coaches who coached that much.
You know, it's something that you do believe in, you do preach, and you coach the heck out of it. And you don't accept it. Like you say, I mean, they had a win over Dallas, but it's still not okay to have turnovers. You never allow them.
3 last week, 2 tonight. Now Jacobs. And Jacobs bangs his way across the 50-yard line into Philly territory and very close to a first down.
You know, you just have the idea that with Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward in this offensive line that they could just run every play and just go right down the field. I mean, I don't think that the Eagles, have the answer. They don't have the answer to how to stop the run before they gain 5 or 6 yards.
That is a first down. Jacobs out, Ward in, shotgun. Manning at the pointing with both arms. Blitz is picked up, Manning then throws, and the pass is incomplete. Coverage is good. Steve Smith with the coverage. Asante Samuel put the pressure on the corner blitz.
We were talking about the Giant offensive line, and this is some of their plays in the first half. You see how they seal that run, and then Chris Snead gets out there and makes a block. Look at that pass protection against the blitz. They picked everything up on that side. And look at the time here, the pocket, the time that Eli has to step up, to look, and throw that deep into Amani Toomer. These guys are doing a good job, but the Eagle offensive line is also doing a good job.
2nd and 10. Ward. And that's another good gain. Ward picking up about 6 behind a Madison Hedgecock block. John, the Giants averaging 6 yards a rush. That's great. And the Eagles are averaging 5.7.
Right. So neither defense has the answer to how to stop the run. And they're both having the same problem. We just saw the Giants run there and get outside. You always want to, set that edge or make a containment, have an outside guy coming up to make you turn in or cut back. And neither of these defenses this half have had it.
3rd and 4 from the 42-yard line. Manning from the gun with the play clock at 2. He gets the snap and then throws the ball to the 31-yard line into the arms of Steve Smith, who's a guy he loves to go to on 3rd down. And all the Patriots have to think back to is that Super Bowl when Smith was on the receiving end of 4 very big 3rd down conversions.
Yeah, and he's the guy that Eli is going to look to. They put him in the slot, and again, when you have this type of situation, you want to go to Smith because he always works to get open, but he has good quickness to get open.
8:22 remaining in the 3rd, and that's Samuel who was down for the injury timeout. Bruce Springsteen and his E Street Band will headline halftime at Super Bowl 43 in Tampa, and next week we'll have the world premiere of Springsteen's new song, Working on a Dream, set to NFL highlights at halftime of next week's game. Ball is at the 30-yard line. Samuel went off under his own power. And now Jacobs takes the ball to the 27-yard line as we tick down under 8 minutes, and Samuel comes back into the game after missing just that one play.
The thing with Brandon Jacobs, he's so big that even when he gets stopped at the line of scrimmage, he falls for 3 or 4 yards. And just in going down, he'll pick up 3 or 4 for you.
264 pounds coming at you. 13 carries, 92 yards for him tonight. 2nd down and 7. Play clock at 2 and 1. Gets the snap. Ward takes the handoff out of the gun, and he gets tackled very close to the line of scrimmage. Omar Gaither is right there, and it will be 3rd down and 5 for New York.
Good convergence, good speed on that Eagle defense. I mean, they tried to get him to think pass. They tried to get him to drop off, and they just ran a draw in there. But watch how when Ward starts inside, watch how all those green jerseys rally to the ball carrier. And that is a great definition of gang tackling.
3rd and 5. They bring Hickson into the game. He's split to the left. Manning from the gun, and Eli is going to have to take a timeout here. Timeout before a key play. 6.5 to go in the 3rd. Philly by 4.
Jim Johnson on the left is thinking right now that in this position on the field, once they get in field goal range, I always blitz. But now with Plexico Burress in there and Eli Manning as calm as he is in the throwing game, should I cover or I blitz? And I look right now, look at this defense, and it's a 3-man line. So if it's going to be a blitz, it'll be out of a 3-man line. And he doesn't blitz.
Burress to the right. They pump it to him, and Burress falls down, and a flag comes in. So Burress was going to get doubled with a corner and a linebacker coming over to help, and Burress goes down after contact.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense, number 22. 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Asante Samuel, and that's the first penalty against Philadelphia in the game.
And see, and the Giants expected that they were going to get a blitz, so they thought they had man-to-man coverage, and they were going to go a double move to Plexico Burress.
And Burress sold that pretty well, didn't he?
He did sell that. He sold the illegal bump, and again, not pass interference, but a 5-yard automatic 1st down penalty.
From the 20-yard line. Manning, good pocket, pass incomplete. Coverage is good. You've got a lot of green shirts around Dominic Hickson. It'll be 2nd down, back to the field into Andrea.
Yeah, the Eagles are playing right now without defensive tackle Broderick Bunkley, who is in the locker room getting an IV for cramping. It doesn't seem very humid down here, guys. It's pretty cool, but he is expected to return.
Trevor Laws, who's their top pick, he was picked in the 2nd round out of Notre Dame. Number 93 is in there for him. It's a cool night. Game time temperature with the kickoff is 48 degrees. 2nd down and 10 from the 20.
Eli sees the blitz, changes the protection.
And then throws it behind Burress. As we started to mention early in the 3rd quarter, Burress tonight, 1 catch, 17 yards for a touchdown. That's it.
Well, and that's the guy, we were talking about taking away Westbrook on the Eagle side, and the guy that they're going to take away here is Plexico Burress. I mean, they are going to have him double anywhere he goes. They were just waiting for that slant. They were going to take it away. Now, 3rd down, and historically, Jim Johnson, 3rd down, 20-yard line. He has always, all his life, blitzed, but he isn't blitzing as much tonight.
3rd and 10. Manning's going to step up. Manning's going to throw to the 4-yard line, and the flag is thrown because Eli, I believe, was across the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm sure that he was across the line of scrimmage.
He's checking out the stick on the side, but the flag came out immediately, so Manning looked like he was going to take off, came about a yard across.
Offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty, loss of down, 4th down.
And that's the key right there, loss of down to make it 4th down.
Yeah, we can look at it here. The red line is the line of scrimmage. Now you can see Eli look, had plenty of time. Now he crosses the red line and throws the ball. And that official was down on this side, right on the line of scrimmage, and made the call.
Manning in his 5th year in the league, that is the first time in his career he's been penalized for crossing the line of scrimmage and throwing the ball downfield. John Carney will now come in to attempt a field goal, but Coughlin is now going to challenge. This is a challengeable play. He brings McCauley over, and they will take a look at it. So McCauley
New York is challenged that the quarterback was not beyond the line when he threw the football.
Tom Coughlin must have looked at a different replay than we did.
Yeah. Under the hood he goes. Tom Coughlin knows the rule book as well as anybody, knows it inside out. His career record is very successful for challenges, relatively speaking. Here's the rule now. There's the line of scrimmage, the red line designating it. Every part of your body, every part must be across the line of scrimmage when you release the ball. So even as you look at this play right here, when does the ball come out? If his right foot is still
After
not passed, here's McCauley.
The quarterback's back foot was not beyond the line at the moment the ball was released. There is no foul in the play. The ball belongs to New York at the 3-yard line.
And it's a
New
completion.
York is not charged for the timeout.
It's a first and goal. You see, that is the rule on the play. Every part of the body, every part, including the right heel, must be across that red line. So the right foot is right there. Here comes the ball. And so the right foot, as McCauley said, was not across the line of scrimmage. A great challenge by Coughlin. Whoever saw this upstairs, phenomenal. Whoever called this down.
I still don't know if it's right, though, because it's when the ball is released. I mean, we stopped it there with the left foot when he still had the ball in his hand. Then once the ball came out, I mean, even when I was watching the play live, I thought he was over the line.
No, every part of his body but the right heel was across the line.
But I think when the ball was released, I think every part of his body was across the line.
Might have been, but he wins the challenge. It's first and goal, and the pass is then caught by Boss in the end zone. No! He thought he had a touchdown, and then he dropped it. So Boss is down there thinking he'd held on, but he did not. It will be second down and goal. This is wild.
That's the first thing you do is always slap your hands. I mean, here he is wide open there, and he had the ball in his hands, then he had it between his legs. Then as he goes down, he loses it. Looks, he has control of it there with his hands, then his knees, and then the ball comes out.
Good call. He was trying to sell it as possession. Jacobs is behind Hedgecock now. They're going to give it to him, and Jacobs is going to pull his way for a touchdown. And the Giants will take the lead. And, of course, the big play is the challenge. Tom Coughlin, the most successful in winning challenges of any coach in history, of course, of the challenge system.
Right, you get a guard pull, a fullback lead, and Brandon Jacobs didn't follow either one of them. I mean, the guard pulls out to the right, the fullback leads out to the right, and he just cuts right off where the pulling guard left. When you're 264 pounds, you can do those kinds of things. And as you say, that was a great challenge by Tom Coughlin.
Tremendous. Carney for the extra point. I mean, by an inch. And as you say, John, I didn't think it was, completely conclusive, but what McCauley said was enough for him to think, and here it is again. I mean, the whole key here, it's the right heel. It's all about the right heel. Was the right heel across the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, but the ball has to be released.
Right, well, the ball's coming out right now, and there's his right heel, and his right heel is not totally past the red line. It has to be completely past it. So the ball is gone, then the right heel comes across the line, and when I look at it again now, it's splitting hairs, but I think McCauley got it right.
Okay, I'll go with you and McCauley and Tom Coughlin then. But he sure looked like he was over the line to me.
With a naked eye, there's no question about it, but it was all about the right heel.
Again, there it's a 21-yard line. It still looks like he was over the line.
But whoever called it in, I mean, for Coughlin to challenge that, there's no way with a naked eye you can really see that. But somebody upstairs, one of his coaches, must have said, hey, look, there's some question about this. Tom, of course, knows the rule inside out, knows that every part of the body has to be across the line. And what a challenge.
And I don't think the Eagle defense recovered because the Giants had their field goal team out there and the Eagles had their field goal block team out there. Then they got the first down. I don't think their defense adjusted or adapted, and even on the goal line.
Tynes' kick is taken by Dents, and Dents will get whacked by Ahmad Bradshaw at the 21-yard line. Tomorrow, a new episode of Chuck. Hero's secrets are revealed, and you'll also see my own worst enemy. That will be the Monday night lineup right here on the National Broadcasting Company. Still frame coming up right now. There's the ball out of his hand, and as you can see, the right foot, even though it's in the air, is not past the line of scrimmage. And that's what McCauley saw, and he got it right.
It's that right heel,
yeah,
huh?
It's the right heel. And even though it's up in the air, it's not across the line. 1st and 10, the ball is at the 21-yard line. McNabb now. Flushed out. He's going to run. Donovan over 3,000 career rushing yards and gets escorted out of bounds by the rookie Kenny Phillips, but not until McNabb rushes for 17 yards and a first down.
It must be a big game. You remember back to all those years with Donovan McNabb, and anytime it was a big game and the Eagles needed a big play, he would get it with his legs. He hasn't done that as much lately, but I was saying earlier today, I'll bet you somewhere in the 4th quarter of this game, Donovan McNabb makes a play by running.
Only the 20th time this season he has carried the ball. The ball is at the 38-yard line. Here come the Giants on a blitz from the backside. And coming to the near side is Westbrook, who gets taken out of bounds by Matthias Kiwanuka.
Kiwanuka set the edge that time, and it was a blitz away from him. And in fact, they blitzed from the left side, and the Eagles ran away from it. But Kiwanuka, again, right here, he has it contained. He has the edge. You can't let him get outside. You have to keep your outside arm free. Kiwanuka does a perfect job.
2nd and 11 from the 37-yard line. McNabb throws, and that gets batted down at the line of scrimmage. That's Fred Robbins, number 98, in his 9th year out of Wake Forest with the bat.
I'd like to be Fred Robbins and have 2 broken hands.
I know.
He has a cast on each hand, and that's why he's playing more with his arms and elbows. You see, he has a break right there where the arrow goes right below his thumb, and then right below his index finger on his left hand.
One of my favorite things is when you ask guys with 2 injuries, you know, which one hurts, because you can only think about one at a time.
Right, you can only hurt one place at a time.
3rd and 10. McNabb, deep over the middle, and the pass is incomplete. He tried to get it to Jason Avant, working out of the slot, so it's a 4th down, and the Eagles will punt.
You know, that 3rd down was a big defense. We talk about how the Giants were going to key on Westbrook and hit him when he didn't have the ball or did have the ball. He got the ball, and there were 3 guys on him right when he caught the ball, one of them being Fred Robbins, the defensive tackle.
Dominic Hickson back to receive the kick off the foot of Sam Rucka. And Rucka, his kick at the 18-yard line, it was Greg Lewis who plowed into Dominic Hickson. So Hickson running over and having called for the fair catch, and Lewis apparently never saw it, and the penalty will be on him.
Fair catch interference, kicking team, number 83. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Lewis has to know better than that, because even if he didn't call a fair catch, you have to let the guy catch the ball, and you can't run into him before the ball gets there. So whether there was a fair catch or not doesn't make any difference. You can't interfere with the return man's right to catch the ball.
15-yard penalty, and puts the Giants at the 33-yard line. It's only the 2nd penalty tonight against Philadelphia, and the Giants have had only 1 penalty against them. Ward to the 36. We're talking about the Giants' hydra-headed rushing attack. The one guy we haven't seen yet is Ahmad Bradshaw, but he's the guy who very often comes in the 4th quarter and does a lot of damage. You've got Earth Jacobs, Wind, Ward, and there's fire, Bradshaw.
Right, and that's what Tom Coughlin told us last night. We said, will we see Bradshaw? And he said, well, you're not going to see him until the second half anyway. And he plays the first half with Jacobs and Ward, and then when the defense gets worn down a little and a step tired, he'll give you a little Ahmad Bradshaw.
Ward again. Fighting his way. He's going to be stopped a little short of the first down. It's going to set up a 3rd down and 1 and behind a Hedgecock block as we tick down to 3:45 remaining in the 3rd.
I'm really impressed with the pursuit and gang tackling of this Eagle defense. I mean, they know that the Giants are a very good offensive line, a very good running team, but whether they get everyone to the ball.
3rd and 1. Jacobs is the back. Manning sets up in the gun. They give it to Jacobs. And Jacobs is going to get taken down. It's Stuart Bradley who got him around the neck, but there is a flag down.
I think it's on Bradley, and I bet he got a piece of face mask.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, defense, number 55.
It looked like a heck of a play by Stuart Bradley.
First down.
Looked like a perfect clothesline until he got the mask.
I mean, he comes through. Here he is right here, the middle linebacker. He comes through, gets penetration, gets his hand up there, and I guess right there you're going to see. Yeah, he got it there.
He did. Remember, the 5-yard variety is gone. You have no garden variety calls anymore. 15-yard penalty moves the ball down to the 43 of Philadelphia. First down.
And as an old defensive coach, I think that's a heck of a play.
Manning pump faking to the right and going to the left and sailing it over the head of Plaxico Burress. 2nd down and 10.
Now, he was trying to go out here to the right. Talking to Eli last night, he thought somewhere they could do this because he felt the Eagle corners are real guessers. And somewhere you can get him with a pump fake and a double move by the wide receiver. He tried it out here in the right and he didn't get it.
Asked Eli about his season so far last night. He said, I'm pleased. It comes from winning games. Sometimes we stall. He said, but we play better when it's a tight game. 2nd and 10, ball at the 43-yard line. Well, it's a tight game tonight. He gives the ball to Jacobs. Jacobs puts that hit down. He gets to the 35-yard line for Brandon Jacobs tonight. Over 100 yards. That puts him at 103 on 16 carries.
And one thing you know, that he's going to be awfully sore tomorrow. And when you play against this defense, when you watch David Deal and Darren Howard, he gets him to the outside, stays with him, then finally makes that extra push at the end to create the hole for Brandon Jacobs.
Now here is Bradshaw coming into the game, number 44. Lines up next to Manning in the shotgun. Under 2 minutes, 3rd and a deuce, and they throw it to the left side. And that's a great hurdle move by Boss, doing his Ronaldo Nehemiah imitation. Hurdles right over Quentin Michael and hurdles for a first down.
Right, if a big guy does that and he jumps over the guy, then he's a great athlete, and it's a great move, and it's a great hurdle. If a big guy jumps over a little guy and fumbles, then you say, what the heck are you doing jumping? But that was a great high jump, wasn't it?
Terrific.
I mean, that's getting up there in the air. I mean, there was no contact at all.
Send that man to London in 2012. 22-yard line. Now Bradshaw. So we've seen earth, we've seen wind, and here goes fire. Finally tackled by Stuart Bradley. They bring him down at the 12-yard line, and that's close to a first down.
But see why they bring him in now, and the defense is worn down a little. It's a longer drive, and you see that, they're just a half a step slow, and that's the time for Ahmad Bradshaw. Watch Hedgecock get that block right there. I mean, he is turned into a great blocker. He is turned in, I think, right now, the best blocking fullback in the NFL.
2nd and 1. Bradshaw again. The first down for Ahmad, who had a huge run in that next to last game of last season at Buffalo when the Giants had to win. They were coming off a miserable Sunday night performance against Washington, on the verge of not being able even to get into the playoffs, had to beat Buffalo, did. He played a big role, and then of course that set him up for the Lombardi Trophy. And that will take us to the end of the third quarter. A typical Giants-Eagles game, close and tight and very physical. End of 3. The Giants 27, the Eagles 24. And Sunday Night Football from Philadelphia continues after these messages from your NBC station.
10 minutes of nonstop news and your hour-by-hour weather after the game.
That beautiful shot of downtown Philadelphia and tonight's aerial coverage is being brought to you by Duracell as we start the fourth quarter in Philadelphia. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, 3-point game, Giants on top, and they have a first and goal at the Eagle 7-yard line. Bradshaw is the running back. He gets the ball. Takes it to the 5. Second down and goal.
This is where, again, you keep going back to that offensive line and the running backs. You can slow the game down. You can wear the defense down. You can just let your offensive line tee off, and you're taking time off the clock, but you also know that you have to score a touchdown.
Been in the red zone 5 times, gotten into the end zone 3 times. Second and goal. Bradshaw behind Hitchcock. Here comes the blitz. Manning's pass is high. Intended for Burris. Pressure was put on that time by Bradley coming up through the middle. Burris looking for a flag. Won't get one. Third and goal.
I'll tell you, I like Stuart Bradley. Like I said before, you see him come right up the middle. He looked like boss when he jumped over. He just took that dive there. He was going to block something. I mean, that looks like more of a play on an extra point or a field goal rather than rushing the quarterback.
Third and goal.
Big play.
Manning, inside handoff, and Ward's going to get taken down in the backfield by Victor Abiamiri, who rotates in and out at defensive end, and he read it perfectly and holds the Giants to a field goal attempt.
Well, this is a Jim Johnson situation here. You know you're going to get the blitz. And here it comes. I mean, they just pack every gap. Abiamiri comes right up the middle, unblocked. That play, a draw, had no chance. Look at Eli. He's telling you that.
Abiamiri had been inactive with a hand injury until last week. So he comes back, makes a big play. Carney now for a 28-yard field goal attempt. As Fiegels puts it down, and it's right down Broadway, or Broad Street. Take your pick. 13:28 remaining in the fourth quarter. The New York Giants leading the Philadelphia Eagles 30-24 on Sunday Night Football. Well, John, you can grant that request, correct?
Nope. Thing of the past.
What?
No.
Are you kidding?
No more turducken.
So, what are we replacing it with? Foie gras?
No. No more foie gras. Turkey.
Cannolis.
Plain old turkey.
All right.
Turkey.
Plain old. Couple of weeks to Thanksgiving. Good ball game. And it figured to be. McNabb will have to affect the comeback.
See, that's why I think Eli Manning was so upset that they didn't get a score in there. And now, if the Eagles score a touchdown, they go up by 1.
Tynes to the 5-yard line. Quentin Demps moves it to the 26-yard line. Of course, the big play was the challenge. Let's go back for a second, because we're going to go look at the red line, which we have drawn through this again. There it is. The red line is exactly where it should be in this shot here, because the front of the ball, the front tip of the ball should touch the line. So when you go back, you play this one more time, a better look here. The head linesman is the official he stands along the far sideline, and clearly at that point you can see Manning is behind the line. The ball comes out. His whole right foot, as we readjust the line, is now
with the readjusted line. I can see it now. I didn't see that before.
Right.
I think key word being readjusted line.
Life is all about readjustments, let me tell you.
I saw that one, yeah. Everyone said, oh, yeah, heck yeah.
There you go.
Didn't look like that before.
1st and 10, the ball is at the 26-yard line. Carrying the ball for a gain of a couple is Brian Westbrook, who has really been held in check tonight. Clearly on the ground, 10 carries for 25 yards. 2 receptions for 25 yards.
And I think you credit the Giant defense for that, because that was their #1 goal. You say, what do you have to do? We have to stop Westbrook. We have to stop him in the passing game. We have to stop him in the running game. We have to hit him when he has the ball. We have to hit him when he doesn't have the ball. They've done a great job of containing Westbrook.
2nd and 8 from the 28-yard line. And McNabb will throw, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Jackson. And getting back to Westbrook for a second, we're not making excuses for the guy, because Brian would never say it has anything to do with injuries, but he has missed 2 games this year, one of them the Sunday night game against Chicago. He had an ankle injury. He also had torn rib cartilage, so maybe he's not 100%. Whatever, they've held him in check, and the Giants defense has done a great job. And through the years, of course, Westbrook has killed the Giants. All you have to say is the phrase punt return.
Right, but I'll tell you this, if you've had rib injuries in the last couple of weeks, you are not 100% yet.
3rd down and 8, the ball is at the 28-yard line. They will throw, and the pass is incomplete. Crowd wants a flag, will not get it. Corey Webster missed some time with the groin pull in the first half, with a good coverage on Kevin Curtis in his 4th down.
Yeah, Curtis didn't do anything to Corey Webster at all. Corey Webster is up there tight on him, has great man-to-man coverage. He didn't drive him off. I mean, you have to get him turned, make him think you're going deep before you can run that hook. Great coverage by Corey Webster.
Takes in his back. Rocker with a low snap. 45-yard boot. Dixon getting around the corner, down the sideline. He goes, and Dominic Hickson, who's been a big play guy with a flag thrown here, however, for the moment, goes into the end zone. And you saw the official right there throwing the flag as Hickson looks back and knows that this is most likely coming back.
And it was thrown right in the area of the block that sprung him.
Receiving team, number 20. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
Well downfield, and Michael Johnson may have held the last guy who even had a chance at making the tackle. Tuesday on NBC, a Tonight Show exclusive. Jay will welcome John McCain in his first interview since the election. And on the Today Show, Sarah Palin gives the visiting Matt Lauer an exclusive tour of her home in Alaska, plus a chat with her husband and family. It's all coming up on Tuesday here on NBC. 1st and 10 now, and this is Bradshaw. And Bradshaw inside the 20. He'll lose the ball, but fortunately for the Giants, it goes out of bounds, and they will maintain possession. Punched out by Omar Gaither, but to no avail.
Hey, a big play here, because the Eagles were just going to go to defenses that would keep the Giants out of field goal range. Bradshaw took that idea right out of their minds by this run.
That's a gain of 23 from the 40 down to the 17-yard line. 1st down. Jacobs is back in the game. There goes Jacobs to the 12-yard line. John, he'll be sore from the defense, but there are a lot of the defenders are going to be sore from Jacobs tomorrow.
Oh, no, they're sore. That's what Antonio Pierce was talking about. This kind of game, he said the busiest thing the next day is a cold tub. Because, you know, anytime you come and play the Eagles, or if you're the Eagles, you play the Giants, it's going to be this kind of game. A tough, very, very physical game.
The Giants have had the ball for 33 minutes, so they've already put in a full night's work on that side of the ball in Philadelphia. Bradshaw's in the game. He gets it. And this time the defense is up to the task as Bradley and company stop him for no gain at the 14-yard line.
Yeah, and then, at some point you have to say we have to blitz him. And that time the Eagles brought their strong safety. So they had a linebacker and strong safety blitz and doing anything just to throw him for a loss to get him in longer yardage so that they have to throw the ball and then try and get a pass rush on him.
Lost a yard, maybe a yard and a half on the play. 3rd and 7. Here's Ward in the game. Full flank Manning out of the shotgun.
The Eagles are in their 3-man line or Okie defense. Just a 3-man line.
Draw. Ward. Flag is thrown. Looks like Fuller may have been offside. Right side of the line. Jumping, and that is going to be the call. And so the Giants can now decline the penalty if they so choose. It will be 3rd down. McCauley just wants to make sure. He said offside, so it'll be 4th down and 1 or 3rd down. It was 3rd and 7 or 3rd down and 2.
So you would take the 3rd and 2.
Offside.
Right.
Defense. Number 58. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Trent Cole. I mean, why go to 4th down if you don't have to?
Because you're going to get this way, you'll get 2 plays. You'll get a 3rd down play, and then you still have the 4th down play.
Already in field goal range. So that was no-brainer for Coughlin and the Giants as Jacobs is now the back in this set behind Hedgecock. They split Burris out to the left. The Giants are going to take a timeout. They take a timeout. That's their second, so they're down to 1 with 10:08 left in the game. Standings in the NFC East. The Giants at the halfway mark, 7-1. Again, Washington and Dallas off today, bye week for each. We get them next week in Washington on Sunday night. And the Eagles will either go to 6-3 or to 5-4. 3rd down and 2 now after the Giants timeout. Jacobs is the running back. They move Hedgecock to provide leverage, and then Jacobs goes right through the middle, and then he loses the ball in the end zone, but they're going to say he was down, and the play is over at the 3-yard line. So Jacobs, who had fumbled earlier, is down by contact before the ball came loose. It will be 1st down and goal.
This was the area that Tom Coughlin was worried about, this goal line defense. Here you see Jacobs is down. He has his arm down. There's the arm, elbow is down right there. He still had control of the ball, so he loses the ball after he's down by contact.
End of play, and Andy Reid's going to challenge.
He has to.
Well, he's looking up at the board.
I think he has to, just out of
Philadelphia's
desperation.
But the runner fumbled prior to being down by contact.
But that is desperation.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you get it down, and they're right down there in the goal line.
Right.
You have to do something.
But once that elbow hits, it's over. They won't win the challenge.
Right.
After review, the runner's elbow was down prior to losing control of the football. Philadelphia's charged with their first team timeout.
So that was a wish challenge by Andy Reid. Yeah, it's important, and hopefully, if you're Andy Reid, you win it. But the downside to it is, in a tight game, you do cost yourself a timeout, which you may need down the line. And you're at least going to be down, if they kick the field goal, by 9. So it's 1st down and goal at the 3. That's about the best goal they can hope for right now, holding to a field goal attempt. The Giants have other ideas. And bulldozing his way into the end zone. The ball again coming loose, but the touchdown signal is made. Jacobs getting into the end zone, and now all of a sudden you got a lot of stuff going on in that mass of humanity. But the signal for the touchdown has already been given.
One of those officials keeps blowing his whistle. Because it hurt so much whistle.
Those are the cops on horseback.
That was was that one official there. But again, this is one of the things with a good, strong, tough runner. You're going to fight to stay up, and that defense is going to get a lot of shots at the ball.
Well, Jaquay Parker is able to get the ball out. The question is when. He has possession. Now, where is he? Where is the ball? And again, any part of the ball with Philadelphia they've recovered it. But the whole question now becomes, and here comes Andy again, and we may have a back-to-back challenge. The whole question is, where is the ball when he loses possession of it?
Philadelphia's challenged that the runner lost control of the football prior to going across the goal line.
All right, so the call on the field, again, very important, was touchdown. So what you have to do is see conclusive evidence to overturn it. It looks as if the ball is across the goal line. And all it is any part of the ball has to get across the front part of the goal line with possession, and it's a touchdown.
Yeah, the key word there, with possession. I mean, it has to be in Jacobs' hand. He has to have control of it. So, obviously, the ball crossed the goal line, but did Jacobs have possession of the ball when it crossed the goal line?
That's when it comes out, and it appears, at least from that angle or from the other angle, that he is across. When you say across the goal line, again, it's the front part of the chalk, any part of the ball. You have to cross the whole goal line, as every football fan knows.
Right, any part of the ball, break the plane of the goal line.
Only the ball has to be across the line. Now the Eagles appear to have come up with the ball, but who in the world is going to be able to figure that out? Meantime, Jacobs all of a sudden has an issue.
Well, you know, that's one thing, you know, again, with running hard, running straight up, being so big, and not going down, the longer you stay up, the more shots the defense gets at you. And that's what they're going to do to him. I mean, they're going to, as long as he fights for extra yardage, those extra tacklers are going to be going for the ball.
If this is upheld, the play, it's the triple whammy for Philadelphia. It'll be a touchdown for New York. Reed would have lost his last challenge and would have lost another timeout.
You know, the first challenge, I think, was desperation. I mean,
right.
there was nothing there, and there was really no reason to challenge. I think this challenge is a good challenge.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So in a game of challenges, I mean, it's really come down to that. And Jacobs then comes out onto the field, and I think he wanted the football as a souvenir. And McCauley said, no, we need it for the, it's the cable.
The cable.
The cable is already out there. That's right.
Yeah.
So some other ball that he took across the goal line.
Jacobs doesn't want a K-ball for a touchdown.
In the meantime, they don't need the K-ball because they're going to go for 2. So who knows what ball this is, but the Giants are going to go for 2 to try to make it a 14-point game. Derek Ward is the running back in this set. So the 2-point conversion from the 2-yard line. Burris set right, Smith and Toomer to the left. The fake to Ward, pass to the end zone. Intended for Burris is broken up. Quentin Michael is there. So they deny the 2 points to the Giants, whose lead now is 12. It is 36-24.
You see, going for the 2, the coverage is Asante Samuel right here. You see, he plays off now. He not only reads Plexico Burris, but he's also looking in and reading Eli. He reads the quarterback's drop and the pattern of the wide receiver.
So, John, it's time to talk a little bit about the New York Giants and just the overview here. We talked about, going back 18 months ago. If they go to 8-1, that's the best record in the conference. Now, last year they did, what Pittsburgh did in 05. You get in as a wild card, you're road warriors, you amaze everybody, and then they could wind up in a completely different situation with a bye. I know we're ahead of ourselves here, but the way they're playing right now, I mean, this is a team with no Super Bowl hangover.
Right, and it's a time where we don't give out awards yet, but if we were to, and you'd have to say who's the best team in the NFC right now, or who's the best team in football right now, I would say the New York Giants.
Well, Tennessee, of course, will argue that. Carolina will say, what about us?
No, I'll argue with them. I know that. I know about Tennessee and Carolina, but I would still say the Giants. They're the champions. They're the best team right now.
Here's them staking it out to the 29. And, you know, it's so funny because you think about Tom Coughlin, and because he is not warm and fuzzy, and if you're a fan of his teams, you know, you want to get on him if you're not doing well. And, of course, in New York, you know, a lot of Giants fans obviously wanted him fired. Now, all of a sudden, you look at a guy. I mean, the coaching job he has done has been fantastic. And not only that, the problem he had with Plexico Burress, just the way he handled that, the team was on his side. I mean, it's one thing, you know, you find a guy, and Burress has been fined $200,000 between the league and the team, and yet everybody is behind the coach.
Right, and they're talking to Plexico Burress as his friend, but saying, look, you gotta come to work, and you have to come to work on time. That's our rules, and you know, and the players believe that too. It's not like he goes against Plexico, and then the whole team goes against him.
Meanwhile,
that didn't happen.
The Eagle crowd just said, what the hell is that play call? You can hear their reaction to it as Westbrook carries for one.
Yeah, you don't need a 1 yard run gain when you need 2 scores.
2nd and 9. Here's Westbrook again. And Westbrook will take it out to the 37-yard line. And we talked about, you know, Westbrook, he's had ankle, he's had ribs, he's going to have to come out of the game right here. Abdomen or groin right now, and so Brian goes to the sideline, and Carell Buckhalter will come in. 3rd and 2. McNair going deep downfield, and that's Deshaun Jackson, and they needed a big play and got one. And the rookie out of the University of California on 3rd down is able to make the catch. Corey Webster with the coverage, and the Eagles have a first down at the Giants' 32-yard line.
And you see the quickness that he has here. That's how he gets by Corey Webster. He's not the biggest guy, but he has that great quickness. He gives him a little move, then gets to the outside, and then uses his speed to get up the field.
Now with alacrity, no huddle. And this is Carell Buckhalter. And one of the reasons that the Eagles have to really ratchet it up right now is the fact that because of those 2 challenges, they only have 1 timeout. It's a 2-possession game, so the clock becomes important even at this juncture.
Right, and I would think at some point here, I would just put it all on Donovan McNabb's shoulders and say, we're going to throw every down now. We don't need to run anymore.
2nd down and 9, action up front.
Because I'll say this, the Eagle offensive line has done a good job of pass protection.
Encroachment, defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Jay Alford.
You know, pass protection really hasn't been a problem. I think that this offensive line has the defensive front of the Giants pretty much under control. So you can do that. You know, you say, well, you hate to throw it down, it'd be tough for pass protection, but I think the pass protection can handle it. And if they can't, they're going to lose anyway.
2nd and 4. McNabb has the ball off his back foot. Nobody's even close. Trying to get it to Buckhalter. Pressure was on. Antonio Pierce is there. It'll be 3rd down.
Now they came on a safety blitz, and the group didn't handle them. You can't put that all on the offensive line, but they didn't handle the pressure. You know, you talk about Jim Johnson. Once you get in this area, he's going to blitz you. Well, Steve Spagnuolo on the Giants sideline is going to do the same thing.
Westbrook back in. Giants put some pressure on, but Jackson makes the catch. 1st down inside the 10 and sets up a 1st down and goal. Deshaun Jackson run out of bounds by another rookie, Terrell Thomas. It'll be a 1st and goal at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, look how everyone goes to the right here. They have Westbrook going out to the right, and then they bring Deshaun Jackson from the right underneath across the field. The defense starts to go with Westbrook. They say we have to go get him. They bring Deshaun Jackson underneath the other way.
sail it to the sidelines. Everybody covered. 2nd and goal.
Well, there wasn't much pass rush here, but on the other end, there was great coverage because he had time, and he's looking, trying to get L.J. Smith in there. Now, you look out here, he didn't have anything on that side. He was looking over to his right. He had nothing over there. Great coverage by the Giant defense.
Westbrook splits to the right.
They have to watch when they spread out like this empty because...
Watch the play clock, too. They let the play clock run out.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Because I think what he was trying to do is go empty and see if they would empty out with him, and then he could run. I really think this is a situation, the type of game that Donovan McNabb will run. And if you go empty and you spread out and you don't keep someone there to spy him or watch him, he can take it right into the end zone. Now they're in a different set here.
2nd and goal. On in motion to the inside. And McNabb will throw intended for Avant. Came in motion and ran a post. 3rd and goal.
They had Deshaun Jackson out. They're bringing him back in. I think they could do that same thing. They've had a lot of success throwing crossing patterns to Deshaun Jackson.
I think they're in a situation, John, where you have to think about going for it on 4th down here. You kick a field goal, it's still a 9-point game. That's 2 possessions. And again, you go back to that timeout situation. They only have 1. So it'll be interesting to see what Reed's going to do. I would suspect he would go for it if they get to 4th down. It's 3rd and goal. McNabb on time. Taking off. Now he gets to the 2-yard line, and here comes that decision. Sammy Knight is there to stop him, and you're almost compelled under the circumstances with the timeouts and all of the rest to go for it. 4th down and goal, and he is sending in a new personnel grouping.
And this is a problem where you don't have that running game. So now it has to be McNabb, and I agree with that. And you know that you have to put it on his shoulders. It's 4th down, and the play either has to be McNabb, play action, bootleg, run, doing something. But McNabb has to make the play here.
He extended that last play and took him down to the 2. Here he goes again on a roll. Looking, throwing in the back of the end zone, and it is caught by Curtis for the touchdown. Kevin Curtis with his 2nd catch of the night. And Andy says we'll kick the extra point.
Here's Kevin Curtis. He was running an option there. He started, and if the corner came in or overran him, he was going to go back to the outside. But they stayed outside, so Kevin Curtis just kept coming. And you knew that, again, they had to put it in McNabb's hands. He had to make the play, and he did.
The 4th down touchdown, the extra point by Akers, and the Eagles still breathing. 5.5 to go. Typical. Giants, Eagles. What else is new? We stay in the NFC East because we go to Washington next Sunday night, where the Cowboys and the Redskins, each coming off bye weeks, each trying to turn things around here. Football night begins at 7 Eastern time to the nation's capital. We go for Sunday Night Football. Meanwhile, here, 36-31, the Giants on top. 5.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. David Akers sending it to the south end zone, to the 7-yard line. Ahmad Bradshaw gets taken down. Good tackle up at the 30-yard line by Chris Clemens. The Giants, a big rushing day last week against Dallas, averaging 162.6. Tonight, 203 yards, up and over 200 again. The Atlanta Falcons coming into this weekend, leading the league in rushing, and the Giants in that second spot. Derek Ward is the running back. Crowd rising is one now. They want to 3 it out is what they want from the 30-yard line. Here's Ward swinging to the outside. What a block by Hedgecock. That's an 8-yard gain. Hedgecock just brilliant. I mean, on the outside, talking about creating an edge, taking Gokong out of the play.
And then that's exactly what Hedgecock has been doing, is you want the outside guy, again, to contain it, to keep everyone inside. But when Hedgecock knocks you on your back, it's hard to have containment.
You know, when your name is Madison Hedgecock, shouldn't you be like Madison Hedgecock III?
No, or you should be Hedgecock, I think, from Nebraska. I mean, just every Hedgecock should be from Nebraska. You shouldn't be from North Carolina.
2nd and 2. Sounds like it should be a night. Here's Ward, and he's going to be stopped shy of the first down. Key 3rd and 1, very key coming up here, especially considering the clock and again the timeout situation. Under 4.5 to play.
Now, this has been a heck of a battle. I mean, this is like a fight. It's like a championship fight. I mean, no one has flinched, no one has stepped back, no one has held, no one spent any time in the neutral corner. This is the way football should be played, really.
In the home of Rocky.
Hey.
3rd and 1. Ward is the running back. The Eagles crowd the line. Ward, and he will not get it, and the ball is loose. Dawkins came from behind to tackle him, and the ball is loose. The Eagles feel they have it. The officials will look at it, and will wait for the signal.
You see that play Brian Dawkins made from that backside. He really brought it.
And the Giants maintain possession. So the Giants recover. May not have been a fumble anyway. Take a look at and see if he's down.
Yeah, the
knee down, possession wouldn't have been a fumble anyway.
Well, I tell you, both these teams are hard hitting, going for the ball on every play. And it wasn't a fumble, but that was a big 3rd down defense by the Eagles.
Huge. Deshaun Jackson back. Fiegels get a flag down back at the line of scrimmage, and Jackson has to field it at the 15-yard line.
Excuse me. I'm just going to say that's a bad penalty because I think the Eagles jumped in the neutral zone or jumped offside.
They did, but I'm looking at the sticks right here, and it's still
very, very close to a first down.
It's not going to be a first down, though, at least with the naked eye. Even if the Giants were offside here, it's still going to be 4th down.
It'll be 4th down and inches zone.
Right.
Offside, defense, number 50. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That's Tank Daniels. It was 4th and about 5 1/3, which means it's going to be 4th down and inches now.
And this is a stupid penalty. I mean, this is undisciplined. This is something you just can't tolerate. The guy's lined up right over the ball. All you have to do is watch the doggone ball.
Correction. New York has decided to decline the penalty. First down, Philadelphia.
Well, it's a great call when you think about it by the Giants, because Fiegels had a terrific kick. He angled it. He sent it to the 15-yard line. I tell you what, Tom Coughlin doesn't get outsmarted very often. The more you think about this for a second, what's the benefit to kicking again? Do you think that Fiegels can pin him any deeper than the 14-yard line?
No.
Probably not.
No, the only decision Tom Coughlin had there was, if I have, 4th and an inch, do I dare go for it?
Right.
And that would kind of maybe start to ice the game. That was only his decision. Do I want to look at that 4th down and maybe an inch or half an inch and maybe go for it? If not, then we're going to take the play, decline the penalty.
No can do. And you look at Fiegels, that's a 51-yard kick. No return. Ball at the 14. The Eagles have to march all the way down the field. Field does them no good here. And that is caught up at the 27-yard line. And that's Kevin Curtis. who scored the touchdown in the last series to the 31. And again, McNabb now has to hustle him up to the line of scrimmage. Gain of 17. Eagles have 1 timeout plus the 2-minute warning.
And when you have that situation, you want Donovan McNabb as your quarterback. I mean, you knew that he had to put it all on his shoulders, and he's doing that right now.
From the 31-yard line. 4-man rush. McNabb going deep. Flag is thrown. For the moment, you have an interception by the rookie Terrell Thomas, but a flag in the secondary.
It's probably going to be a defensive holding penalty.
Defense, number 58. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Antonio Pierce. So that negates the interception. Pierce to the hole. Ball goes to the 36.
Here you see Pierce is right here. You see a lot of times you get those crossers, and as they start to cross, you just grab them. And it looked like Antonio Pierce was just starting to grab L.J. Smith.
It might have been on Kiwanuka. It looked like Kiwanuka was the one who was holding. He said 58, but there's your hold on L.J. Smith.
Well, there's another hold there,
right,
too, on
yeah.
Pierce. So that was a double dip, but they threw it where Antonio Pierce was.
Ball to the 36-yard line. 2.5 to go. Pressure from the backside. McNabb's got to get rid of it, and then it is dropped. He got it into the hands of Brent Selleck, who had that big game last week in place of the injured L.J. Smith. And that'll make it second down. Kiwanuka put the pressure on from the backside.
And Kiwanuka really put the pressure on there. And that's the great thing about having a defensive end with speed like that. When McNabb starts to roll out away from him, the speed of Kiwanuka can catch up with him.
Giants came into the game second in the league in sacks with 30. None tonight.
We're talking about the Giant offensive line a lot tonight, but this group here has done an excellent job also.
2nd and 10. McNabb stepping up. Will run. We'll pick up about 7. 3rd and 3 coming up. Aaron Ross in to make the stop. Ball at the 44-yard line. Clock ticking down. Again, it will stop at the 2-minute warning, and they have 1 timeout. The crowd is saying, "What are you doing?"
They're going to wait and take the 2 minutes is what they're going to do.
Oh, boy. I try to,
I think McNabb's tired.
He's tired as well. It reminds me of a little bit of the Super Bowl.
I think it's a third down play.
Big play.
And he wanted the 2-minute warning, to get the right play and to get his breath back.
That's what he's done, but he's down to his last time out. And they need a touchdown. Good game. 3rd and 3. 36-31 Giants. Philadelphia, PA. Sunday night, November 9th. 2 minutes to play. 1 timeout for Philadelphia. 3rd and 3 coming up for the Eagles.
Look at McNabb down there throwing passes on the sideline to Harold Carmichael. He stayed warm during this timeout. The guy catching him was the old wide receiver of the Eagles years ago, big Harold Carmichael. So Andy's over there, and Marty Morningwick, the offensive coordinator, talking to the receivers and everything, and McNabb was out there on the side throwing to Harold Carmichael.
Another look at the standings. Again, the Giants with a win go to 8-1 and have a clear shot, clear path to the title in the division and first round bye in all likelihood. Manning looking on from the sidelines here as the Eagles come up for a critical 3rd and 3 on the 44-yard line. Selleck in motion. They pitch it to the outside to Westbrook, and he's going to come up short of the first down. But at least he gets to the sideline, and he's able to stop the clock. Andy Reid coming over to take a look at exactly how much he has. So here's your ball game right here.
I think, again, I would have done like like the last series, I'd keep it in Donovan McNabb's hand. I know that, you want to fool them. They're expecting that, but they're handling their rush all right. I don't know that you needed to run in that situation. In fact, when there were 2 scores down, I don't know that they needed to run again.
4th and 1. Eagles last gasp here to keep it going. And they run it, and they don't get it. It's Chase Blackburn, the outside linebacker, coming in off the bench to make the tackle, and they run Westbrook on 3rd and short and on 4th and short.
That's the same thing they did in Chicago. I mean, you have Donovan McNabb, you have that situation. You have to put the game in his hands. Oof. I mean, they're not a running team. They're not a short yardage. They're not a goal line team. They don't have this kind of fullback. They don't have those kinds of runs. They have 3rd and short and 2 plays, and they go 2 running plays. And the thing that they are is McNabb throwing the ball. The thing that they're not is a power running game.
So Blackburn is there. Juris Wilkinson is hurt. So Chase going to see a lot of action tonight till he can stop the clock just once. And this is Brandon Jacobs taking it to the 41-yard line, and here is their final timeout. So those 2 unsuccessful challenges come back to burn them at the end. They cannot stop the clock anymore. And there it is, Philadelphia, 3rd and 4th and 1, 3rd or 4th and 1 this season. Rushing, a little more than 1 out of 3 are they successful. Passing, 3 out of 3. Go figure.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think got them even more than taking the timeouts is these 2 play calls. I mean, they don't have a fullback that can lead like Hedgecock, and they don't have that power running game of a Brandon Jacobs, and that's just not who they are and what they do. And they reverted to it in a time when they needed something else, obviously.
So the Giants now with a 2nd down. They can't take the clock all the way out, but very close to the end. 2nd down and 6 from the 41-yard line. Here's Jacobs again. Of course, if they get the 1st down, everything is moved. So it'll be 3rd down right now, and they'll take all the time they can off the play clock. All right, the key play in the game, you go back to what was whistled as crossing the line of scrimmage. Here it is again. You go back to this play, which would have set up a 4th down. The Giants are trailing at this point, but every part of the body, including the heel, must be across the line of scrimmage. There was Eli and Coughlin. Tom was looking for the replay upstairs. It was very hard to tell, obviously, with the naked eye. There's no way you could have told. Maybe somebody, one of the coaches upstairs, they have 6 guys in the box. Somebody could have called down or whatever, but the challenge was successful. Coughlin, the most successful, what do you call him, challenger among coaches in the history of the NFL. And if Jacobs has the 1st down, this will write and finish to the game. Otherwise, there'll be a couple of seconds left before the Giants have to make a decision. McCauley will look over. And for the moment, the clock is stopped at 48 seconds. They'll bring the chains in. And this will be not a 1st down.
I know what Tom Coughlin's thinking right there. I got a good offensive line, a big running back. How can we leave it that short? I would think he goes for it here, don't you?
Well, it's 4th and inches. The one thing he can do, as soon as they wind the clock, that's going to take it down even farther. Because remember, the clock was only stopped for the measurement. So McCauley will now signal for the clock to be restarted. That will take us down to 10 seconds or so, or under that.
Right, he can take it all the way down and call it and take a penalty at the end, or call a timeout.
Right, the play clock, it had been stopped. Normally it's 40 seconds. It was stopped at 34 for the measurement. They started from 34. Right now there's about a 15-second differential. And of course the Giants can take all of the time off of it and call a timeout at the end and then decide what they're going to do.
That's what they're doing. See, Eli goes over right next to the referee, and he's watching the clock, and he's going to take a timeout when it gets right down to 1 second.
So for the Giants, despite 2 turnovers, and they were very costly,
New York.
Only 4 penalties in the game. A really beautifully coached game by the Giants staff. I mean, this was really good coaching tonight. Jacobs, take a look at that. Ward, 3.1. Bradshaw, 5 rushes. Earth, Wind, and Fire. The challenge was the key play of the game. Reed within with 2 challenges, so that spent 2 of the 3 timeouts that you had in the second half. Still don't understand the two runs on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, but that's all moot right now. Horse trailer player of the game. Andrew has an interview. Dan Patrick and Chris will fast forward. Bob gets the rest of the night off. And on 4th and inches, the Giants will
quarterback sneak.
Go for it here. Manning, and he will make it, and that will write an official into the game. And the New York Giants come into Philadelphia, beat the Eagles again in Pennsylvania, go to 8-1. And the Eagles right now, who had a chance to make this a wild scramble in the NFC East, are all of a sudden on the precipice again, vying for a potential wild card spot. 2 guys with a tremendous amount of mutual respect for each other. The hottest assistant coach in the league right there, and Steve Spagnuolo.